hours sound like a long time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to BrigadeCon 2015 for one of the last games of the event. This is the Dreams and Magic game, not only of sight and sound. Before we continue on this game, I would just like to make a few announcements. One, to thank all the wonderful organizers for BrigadeCon for doing all their hard work and wonderful work to make this event a reality. If you want more information about BrigadeCon in general, or maybe to look forward to 2016, go to brigadecon.org to take a look at all that, as well as eventually maybe a playlist of all the games and chats that have been going over through the day. The second announcement would be for Child's Play, which is a charity for young children who are either hospitalized or have very poor living situations, in order to give them a chance to experience like wonderful games, whether it's video games, tabletop games, board games, all that kind of things. We give that spark of imagination to them, and if anything, that is something that we at BrigadeCon would love to share. So either go to childplays.org, or BrigadeCon has its own Teespring thing where you can buy shirts. All proceeds for the shirts for BrigadeCon go directly to Child's Play to help fund that charity. And finally, to give a shout out to the creators of Dreams and Magic. This is a fairly new game. It was kickstarted last year and has been out since around June, July-ish. So if you like what you see here, if you're interested more about the game, please go to odampublishing.com to learn more about it. Maybe purchase the book or the PDF. It's up to you. Either way, support the creators. They're two of the nicest people I've ever met, and they definitely deserve as much help as they can. But anyway, if it weren't for them, this game wouldn't be happening. So, without much further ado, I want to take you all to the end of one story. We begin at the end, and at every end there's another beginning. We are in a blasted hellscape. Molten lava funnels down like rivers across the cracked and dried dirt of the land. Heat waves rising up, the stench of corpses burnt to crisp, smoke blackening the skies. In front of us stands three figures taller than any man and could stand, 8 feet tall, dressed, adorned in full yellow body armor, but more than just body armor. This is armor that is bulky, is strong, and yet when they move in this bulky armor, they move with such a fluidity that it's almost like a skin to them. Before us stands the Imperial Fists, Space Marines, sent down to this blighted hellscape to eliminate a chaos demon that has been plaguing the beauty of this world known as Britannia. We have Chaplain Bryanus, one of the Emperor's most faithful enough to the point that he has achieved his status as chaplain. He holds the adornments, he has his bolter, he has the staff that has its own great power within it, the symbols of his authority. We have Brother Samael, the Imperial Fist librarian, with his power sword in one hand and his mind sharp and keen, ready to purge the heretical taint that has come upon this once beautiful land. And we have Brother Parthos. Parthos, who holds in his hand the great, giant, holy heavy bolter, adorned with seals of purity, showing his faith to the service of the Emperor. at the ready. Before them, popping out of the warp of the twisted dimensions of space and warped and void, popping into existence, are creatures whose skin burns a fiery red with their hate, with their anger, with their desire for and thirst for the blood and skulls of all that exist on this land, and their target are now these 3 holy champions of the Emperor's might, the fists of the Imperium. First, it's only 3 of these demons, these Cornites. But then there's 5. But then there's 20. And then there's 50. And then there's 80. This is a piece of cake for our champions. But that will not stop the thirst of the blood god Khorne. And with a roar, they charge our champions. And with that, opening volleys, gentlemen. Begin your descriptions of how you deal with this first wave.
Well, I have a gun. I think we've got to go ahead and shoot that gun at whichever is the closest and all of its friends.
Yep. And so you go for that. It has a full auto fire filled with holy bullets to purge these things that explode upon contact. Go ahead. You start mowing down. Describe as you mow down the first legion waves as your fellows ready themselves.
Well, I'm imagining that as each of these holy bullets shoot out, they have just a whistling sound going with them, and white lightning strikes behind them as they just leave a bloody hellscape all across the entire scene.
Very good, very good. But more still come, even as the bullets are being waved. Even the Cornites, some of them are growing more tough as they come closer and closer, but stepping over the remains of their fellows, making their way forward. So
Can I call for help from Brother Chaplain?
Oh, of course. Brother Chaplain's at your side.
Oh, yes.
Chaplain Bryanus.
Just sort of unleashing whatever firepower he has stored up, saving the divine blessing of the Emperor for the true foe that is obviously waiting like a coward to let these blood-drenched, crazed fools, corrupted servants of chaos, do his dirty work for him. With a triumphant yell, he'll say, "Hold the line! The one we want is further on," as he will just join his comrades in battle, unleashing just utter devastation upon the enemy. Bullets rain down like a torrent, like a monsoon. All the while keeping an eye on the horizon, making sure not to let the enemies get too close, always waiting for the one they are waiting for.
And I emerge from behind my 2 companions, crawling up the heaps of rubble, broken, mangled bodies of warp-infested creatures. One hand holding aloft a banner, a standard of the Imperium, the other wielding the mighty power sword. Slash aside several of these warp creatures. By the might of the Emperor, this planet will be made clean! And I cut aside a swath. We're planting down that standard, showing perhaps to the even greater rage of these demon scum, the true owners of this planet, and the true strength of this universe.
And still they come, and still the bullets hail, and still more are cut down asunder. Eventually, though, finally, that which you have been waiting for arrives, and the world cracks. The thunder roars. As blood and fire rain up from the rivers of lava like veins that have ruptured in the planet, bursting upward in great torrents towards the sky, spattering down onto the other demons who do not seem to pay this pain much mind, this heat, this vile potency. Some of the lava begins to rain down upon you three.
Does this
Onward.
burn through our armor?
It begins to burn a little, but you are space marines. This is nothing. Lava will not stop you. Lava will not purge. You will not stop your faith in the Emperor. But the warp begins to shift again, and out steps this demon prince, Morgoth yet. He stands 15 feet tall with 6 arms, and in each arm he holds a weapon, each a bladed one, and swords of different designs, crude and vile and serrated, axes also serrated and definitely not looking like anything that would cut clean, but these are weapons of Khorne. They are not meant to cut clean. They are meant to cut, to bleed, to spill blood, to sever heads, to get more skulls to the skull throne. It opens one of its 6 mouths, and its long tongue lolls out with barbed herbs on its length as it lets out a hellish scream like a shockwave. You, Brother Samuel, can feel its presence and pressing against your mind, but your presence is strong too.
Stand tall, my brothers. Our purpose has made itself known, and we will make ourselves known to it.
Holding his staff of authority, his divine blessed staff, he'll shout, "For the Emperor! Charge!" And with that, it is the Marines' time to charge. They're the ones who is now the unstoppable line moving through the ways of enemy towards the demon, towards the Icarus chaotic thing that would dare bleed into the Emperor's reality.
I will gladly do so. I will heave my gun onto my shoulder, and unloading bullets into this giant thing will charge deftly forward. Caution to the wind, my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm empowered with, like, Samuel's words. I'm ready to do this.
And so you charge, and they fall under those peons, the ones that would keep you from your true prize. They fall before you. Oh, even a fist, one of your fists is enough to break their necks. You crush those that have been merely stunned by your own bodily force underfoot, crushing them underneath. They will not stop you. They cannot stop your advance. Bullets fly out. Taking care of the rest, clearing the way, is now just you and the demon prince.
Well, I'm going to go ahead, say nothing to this guy. I'm just going to look up at him, spit in his face, and then proceed to shower him with bullets straight into the eyes.
For sure. And so you raise your gun and you begin to unleash this hail of bullets towards it. And then its arms, 2 of its arms, spring to life, whirling in motion with its blades, beginning to deflect most of the bullets, not all of them. Some of your bullets find purchase amongst its cheeks, exploding in a way, but that doesn't seem to stop it as the blood seeps down into the earth below you, cracking the already dry land black. It only seems angry, and 2 more arms swing forward down to smash all 3 of you in one swing, if possible.
Holding up the staff aloft and intoning this prayer to the Emperor with an unnatural force and perhaps a bit of psychic aid through the power that's in the staff. And much like another famous wizard character, he will halt the attack of this gigantic thing, the mystical force of the staff, like somehow able to hold back the assault of this giant creature, even though it might be seeming to be made of very less substance than this warp-spawned material that these axes are. And he will then shout, "This is your chance," and then he will just shout, "For the Emperor," and unleash all of the power that is in there upon the creature to perhaps allow an opening for his two comrades to finish off the creature once and for all.
The waves waves that form out of the symbol of your authority as chaplain of the Imperial Fists rings out in wave after wave. It hits the blades first, and it seems to like deter them for a moment as they begin to try and press, but then another wave, and then another, and another, until finally his guard is broken, and and the demon stumbles back from the remaining force of your power, from the force of your authority, by the force of the Emperor itself. He is open. Make your moves.
Well, I'm just going to keep charging forward with my gun in my right hand, and I'm going to fire right into his throat, while my other hand reaches out and tries to steal one of these weapons from him.
As this creature's guard is broken, its body shocked and battered by the unrelenting bulwark of Imperial power. I slice through time after time after time, waiting for my opening, which comes on the coattails of our chaplain's brave and holy words. I bring the power sword up in an upward arc beneath the guard line of one of the arms of this monstrosity, severing it halfway up between the wrist and the elbow. That twisted, ruined, jagged blade that it has been using both to try to slice us to ribbons and deflect the ammunition of my companion. Now no longer a possibility. So now any bullets that you fire may
go straight into its
purchase.
bloody eyes.
Of course.
And so the battle begins to reach its conclusion. The bullets that reach towards the throat, there's almost a reflexive thing. Maybe it's the kick of the heavy bolter itself. But it does not hit the throat exactly, but it does begin to send a shower of explosions right through one of the upper arms, and the arm flies off in a series of small explosions. Blood and sinew and gore begins to rain down as he lets out another scream from all 6 of its mouths this time, with 6 barbed tongues lolling in agony. The power sword slices through another limb, another sword down, and then suddenly the final hail of bullets right through each of its eyes, and then the head explodes. The body begins to dissolve, along with the weapons, along with all the hate. The skies do not clear, but there are cracks in the smoke as light begins to shine down upon you 3. And in this blood-caked, black-tarred landscape, amidst the flow of the now dying away volcanic magma, you all see one thing amidst this volcanic ash. A flower. One flower. Still a sapling, not yet bloomed, and yet, in this moment, in your victory, it opens, bright, lilac, purity amidst this corruption. This world has been saved, and it's thanks to you. And then you wake up. You're not Space Marines. Well, you were for a moment. And instead, you are waking up from one of the most intense dreams you've ever had. A dream that was real. And you know it to be real. Because they're lying on the hospital bed that you have taken seat next to allow yourselves to sleep is young Bethany. It's funny now, in retrospect, you begin to realize that why the planet was named the way it was really just a symbol for Bethany, as the Reaver was just laying waste to her mindscape, to her mind, to her health, and why you were named as you were in their manifestations. For you are anima. This has been the end of a mission. Not your first mission, but even then you were still fairly new to being members of the DCMA. People who go out to protect people from manifestations of the doubt, to be a sort of check and support system for other animas like yourselves, and to maintain order within the anima community. You've all joined this for one reason or another. You've been put together because your talents complement each other. Go ahead and introduce yourselves as you are in this waking world. What you look like, what your thoughts are of having been in a dream, whether or not you curse the fact that you had no knowledge of who you were, what you were when you were in the dream, or maybe extolling ecstatic of having been a Space Marine, even for just a brief moment in time. Though, Patrick, there is something you realize is in your hand. It's not the bolter, but your hands were almost instinctively clasped as though they were still in the whole bolter holding position. But you have in your hand one of those seals.
I'm just as happy as that. And I remember this entire dream. And I remember who I am. I remember I am Patrick. I remember that I work for the DCMA. And I remember that I'm very sad I'm no longer a Space Marine. So, what exactly am I holding in my hands? Just a simple seal?
Just a simple purity seal, nothing more, nothing less. A symbol of your devotion and purity to the faith of the Emperor in that dream.
I'm going to gloat to my fellow agents that I have had this and they have not.
I look over, rousing from a fitful sleep, though success does not come without cost or without physical and mental strain. I look puzzled for a second.
No, please.
What is that? Wait a minute. Oh shit.
Yeah, that actually happened.
I looked like surprised, aghast. Really, it's. You know how rare that is? Take something from the dream into the physical?
Rare enough, but still. It proves that we actually did this.
Yeah.
It's not unheard of, too.
Yeah.
As Brian will just sort of laugh. Good job, man.
I think you guys are just jealous.
That one. Maybe a
I
little.
don't know.
The funny thing is, I had actually never was a fan of Warhammer, and now I probably know more about it than my friends. I so am punching the next person who says blood for the blood god next time, though.
It won't be me.
Well.
There's a small stirring at the bed, and it's Bethany's beginning to wake up. She's been in since
coma?
the Reaver. Yeah, well, in a way, she has been in a coma. since the Reaver had infested itself into her mind, she had been losing a lot of bodily control. It was almost like demonic possession and stuff. Her parents, being very religious, were almost on the verge of calling a priest to essentially cast it out. It's a good thing you guys came in first.
All right, well, I'm going to go over, I'm going to comfort her as she's waking up and kind of explain that everything that she has imagined now is gone, and she has defeated a demon within herself and has been empowered because of it. And I don't let her see the seal.
Okay. She's kind of waking up. She kind of looks at you for a moment, like she's confused for a moment, like for a moment. It's a weird look in her face, kind of like she doesn't know who you are, and yet at the same time, there's that look in her eyes, like there's something, like she knows you. She never met you, but she knows you. But when you say those words to her, her eyes begin to widen, and that suspicion turns into full recognition, and she smiles. And it's probably the first smile she's smiled in a long time. Bring.
Oh.
Brian's phone rings.
It's like, hold on a sec, I'm going to get this. And he'll actually leave the room as he looks at who's calling him.
It's your
The boss?
senior agent. Yep, it's your senior agent. I have his name here. One moment. Director Bill Williams.
All right, well, I'm going to stay and comfort her, and I'm going to ask like that they go help and deal with him as I deal with her.
Okay.
Brian will nod and then just sort of exit the room. You'll sort of find a little like niche, probably like one of those areas like in the hospital where they have like the water fountain entrance, or like a section where there's like water fountains or like vending machines, and he'll just sort of sequester himself there and flip his phone open and say, "This is Brian."
I was just checking up. I haven't heard from you guys in a few hours. What's the situation on that unbound Reaver?
It was a hairy one, but we got it, sir.
You got it?
Yeah.
It's taken care of. Well, I'll ask you guys. Very good. I know you guys are still essentially rookie agents, and you're getting the shit jobs for the most part, but look at it this way. If anything, you guys might be getting yourselves up to bigger and better things. Perhaps you'll even begin, I might even have you starting going around talking to certain Desinins that have taken refuge in the waking world. In the meantime, however, congratulations, job well done. I expect a full report on my desk tomorrow. Otherwise, you guys have yourselves a good rest of the day off. Sleep well.
Thanks.
You deserve it.
Thanks, Russ. All right. You got it. And with that, he'll just close the phone because he knows Mr. Williams is busy and their talks are usually very brief. So he'll head back and just take his friends to the side and say, "Boss is done with us for the day."
So we can go eat dinner at Denny's?
Sure, why not?
It's not like we're getting paid for much else. Not yet, anyway.
We're doing good work,
You seem
man.
pleased.
And so,
So we go and we leave, and we can find a Denny's.
really,
Can we
you
actually
don't
find
need-
and have like an impromptu meeting at Denny's to talk about what we just discussed?
Oh,
Well-
that is so meta. Let's totally do that.
Well, you'll get your chance in a moment. Unfortunately, that moment is not now. For while you guys have been talking, while this scene has been going on, it sort of started around the point where after Bethany recognizes you and smiles, the world has started becoming started to dull. The world has become like the colors are starting to become muted and stuff. None of you noticed this. None of you noticed or registered the process of this happening until as the moment you guys leave and walk out of the hospital, The camera, imagine as though watching you guys walk out of the Denny's, or walking out of the hospital, is like a camera watching you. The camera stops and lets you guys walk out, and the world is in black and white. And the world seems to sort of take on a sort of almost like film set sort of feel to it. And then the camera pans over, and we see this face.
That is a scary face.
Hold on. Going back to the Riz again.
Mm-hmm.
Just imagine a shady vacuum cleaner salesman.
Well, that is ominous.
And he stands staring straight out towards this proverbial camera that seems to be staring at him. And he directs his voice to it.
Oh, no. Oh, you've got to be kidding me.
And he says the following. Introducing 3 men. Brian J. Cartwright, a student with nowhere to go, little ambition, and subject to his own malaise until confronting his own sloth. Patrick Miller, a cop who walked the beat, shackled to his desk until he turned the key. And Samuel Pritchard, computer technician and novelist, trapped by reliving nostalgia with his every waking moment, even when he believes he's escaped. What you've just witnessed is an occurrence all too common in a world that turns a blind eye to it. Beneath its mundane layer lies a brightness of forgotten dreams and lost magic. The 3 men you have just seen are examples of this truth. Unfortunately, not all dreams are wonderful. Not all magic pure or innocent. For in the same layer of brightness, long shadows stretch between dimensions. Dimensions not only of light and sound, but of mind. One of these men has become an unwitting conduit to one such dimension, and through the bond with his fellow man has connected them all to the Twilight Zone. And Samuel Pritchard, you wake up in a cold sweat of realization. You know exactly who that was, and it wasn't just Rod Sterling from those series that you watched in the Twilight Zone. This is something that had plagued your nightmares for years before you became Anima. A face you thought you'd never see again. A face and presence and form you thought you'd never have to deal with again, and yet, somewhere lurking the deepest of your unconscious, you knew. The narrator, waiting, the one that subjected you to those hellish dimensions upon dimensions within your own dreamscape, forcing you to play out tormented realities until you defeated him and won your freedom and became Anima. But it seems he's back. And as you look around your room in that cold sweat and their heart trembling, knowing that was not just an idle dream. There are no such thing as idle dreams anymore. That was real. That moment. Everything you saw in that dream, that battle with as the Space Marines with Bethany, that was 3 days ago. There's been a few days after that. You went to your Denny's, you had your meeting. And as you begin to calm down, at the end of that, breathing heavily, there's something that you realize is at the end of your bed, sitting there, sort of limp-like, but just sitting at the end of it, is a doll. That's never been in your room. That doll is not something you would keep in your collection. It looks old, like something out of the 60s. Its dress is definitely is like a lightish pink with a bonnet, with the curly hair and the bright big eyes, and on its back you could tell, you just know almost instinctively, there's a pull string on the back of it. And you almost can't help yourself, but you know you have to make sure this isn't just a dream, that this thing is real.
There's a sheen on my forehead, that cold sweat. My eyes wide, hyperventilating, realizing the true extent of what has just happened. And then I see this thing, and like my heart stops for a second, just dread, and for like 3 seconds I can't even move. I see this thing, my eyes are locked on it. It's the only thing I can see. And reaching out a trembling hand, trying to grit my teeth and maintain some sort of composure. It's whatever is going on here.
And when
I pull the string.
And it whirls up. And then the doll's head turns, like turning its face to look directly at you. And out of it comes the recorded voice. My name's Talking Tina, and I don't like you. And that's when the ball, like the other shoe, drops, and you feel yourself shaking and sweating anew again. You are now subjected to the realization that, yes, he is out there. He is manifested into the waking world, and he sent this message to you. You are under the effects of the Nemesis's echoes. So, as long as your Nemesis is out there right now, you are having some penalties.
Okay.
Your maximum conviction right now, which normally would have been 100 right now, is reduced by 30.
Hey.
And any chance of regen, of trying to get it back, depending on whether or not you inspire someone to believe in their dreams when you wake up, or anything like that, it reduces it by any chance of conviction gain by 3. This will not go away until either your nemesis is defeated or you decide to give in to the doubt for just a little bit. It'll remove those penalties for 1 day for every doubt point you take. Now, I should mention one thing. I'm making this a small house rule, considering this is a very small little game here. I'm reducing the limit of doubt points before you fully are no longer anima to 3.
Okay, that's bad.
So I mentioned of doubt points for you players. The doubt is always present. It's always pressing against your mind to give back in, to close your eyes, to not believe things are real. And there's a mechanic for this. It's called the doubt point. All players at the start of the game start with 0 doubt points. There is no... doubt points are not a good thing to have. There's really very little ways to get rid of them. Once you start to give in, it's a slippery slope. But the doubt offers its services. So whenever something like a reaver tries to attack you, or a magical effect is targeting you, you can give in to the doubt a bit. Believe that's not real. That's not a fireball coming at me. Oh, those claws aren't going to hurt me, because that's not real. For a brief moment, the doubt will assert itself. It will become a shield for you. It will protect you from said magical or supernatural effect. But there's a certain limit to this. The more you start to give into the doubt, you begin to close your eyes easier and easier, and eventually, when you give into the doubt too much, you are no longer anima. We'll get to what you become another time.
You become a Monday.
Anyway,
I see this, and my fears and my dreads are confirmed. I fly, shit, and I throw the covers over it, and I just scramble, knocking over a bunch of stuff off of my cabinet, and I just scramble back to the wall, moving really quick. I just grab whatever not washed clothes are thrown on the floor. Stumble outside of the room, shut the door, and just run, get out of my my apartment. Like just throw off whatever shirt and clothes I'm sleeping in, just, haphazardly. Just throw whatever garmentry I've been able to pick up off the floor or off a chair. I'm not brushing my teeth or showering. I get out of there.
And where are you going? What are you doing in this mass panic of yours?
What time is it when I wake up? Is it daytime at least? Daytime or night?
It is right on the edge of dawn, that twilight period.
Of course.
So I'll say about maybe like 6:23ish.
Okay. I go to the only place I know that's not safe necessarily, but safer. I head to the acronym escapes me. It's the DC. Is it the DCLA?
The DCMA.
DCMA. Yeah, to the DCMA. That's where I go. At least I'll be surrounded by other dreamers like myself, and be amongst common company.
Fellow anima.
Yeah.
So you'll be getting there about how you normally get on time, mainly because you're just in a panic to get there. For Patrick and Brian,
I'm totally on time. I'm used to waking up this early.
Oh yeah, no, and hell, this is your new job anyway. It's better than being stuck behind the desk. So I mean, they're still paying you like a regular cop wage anyway for the DCMA. That's essentially, as being an agent, is basically a cop's wage. You're used to this. Your explanation to your wife has been pretty much, it's like, oh yeah, they've moved me to a new department or a new position or anything like that. It's basically the same pay. You're no longer behind the desk. You're doing what you are happy to be able to do again. So you get there. It's 7 o'clock. You're happy to be able to get ready for work for the day. Who knows what they're going to do? It's been 3 days since your last mission. Maybe they'll have something for you today. Brian, are you heading to the DCMA this morning? Are you on time, or are you going to be a little late? You're muted.
I'm sorry about that.
No.
My character will be arriving maybe just almost late. He spent a great deal of time last night and the last couple of days sort of looking up more information on Warhammer 40k, partially because the dream really fascinated him and partially because he's trying to find maybe some more interconnectivities between what he saw and the whole dream sequence involving this demon, since that's sort of his speciality. So he's sort of jogging to work as soon as the bus opens its doors with his backpack on and just sort of running in through the door. He probably reached the door about the same time as Samuel does.
I will say that you can see checking in at the receptionist desk. You can see Patrick checking in, and it's about that time, like 2 minutes after 7, that both Samuel and Brian practically almost run into each other. And you've been working with Samuel for maybe 2 months now. You haven't seen him like this. There's definitely a frenzy in him, and his jacket's on backwards.
Well,
It's a bit hard to manage.
Right. I guess he'll sort of hold the door open and say, "Hey man, you okay?"
Yeah, I'll come over, ask him the same question.
No, I don't think so. No, I know I'm not. We're still in the lobby.
Yeah, you're still in the lobby.
We can go somewhere more private if you want.
I need to. Yeah, I need to sit down a sec.
Oh man,
All
you're
right,
sweating
sure.
like a storm. Like, do you need some water or something?
No, yeah, please.
Right, in that case, Brian will go and just to one of those, like little like office like water fountains where you have like the plastic little like Dunstan cups, and you'll just go glug 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 and fill it, then bring it
Yeah.
in.
And so we're in a big like office building, kinda. There's got to be like a conference room that's vacant at this point, right?
Yeah. To explain the DCMA situation, it's really unknown as far as like how many anima there actually are in the world. And with the nature of Chicago being divided by its 4 sections for the most part, each section of Chicago has its own agency jurisdiction. The people working in this office building, it's an office building. You have your dedicated floor essentially for your stuff. A lot of mundane people who are not aware of the actual stuff the DCMA does works here doing other jobs depending on like their marketing and among other things. But there is a specific floor dedicated for the agents, you guys. You're not the only agents in this department, but yes, Nick, just to answer your question. But basically, you're not the only agents of this department, but you are definitely the junior team of only 2 other teams of anima in this thing. So you have your senior agents, your middle agents, and then you guys, the rookies.
Oh, we're the freshmen.
You're the freshmen, essentially. That's a good way to put it.
I think
So,
we're going to go
you're going-
and like
yeah.
settle ourselves in the office, try to get him calmed down, get him a cup of water, keep everything quiet, try to be like stealthy about it so no one comes and question us.
So you guys slip in, and you're guiding him in, and as you close the door behind you and you turn around, right in the middle of the desk is a doll.
All right, I'm unnerved by that.
Oh yeah, it's just going to be sort of a like open the door and just pause like right in the threshold, and there's probably like a noise off in the background. Is it just probably staring at us?
Yeah, there's something. I mean, it looks like a regular doll, like, but unfortunately, it's not Bring Your Child to Work Day, and it's doubtful that any anima would have left it there as a practical joke. Samuel, however, that's the same doll.
Surprised. Yeah, I jolt slightly, but like I look like a mixture of like
Acceptance and shock.
Acceptance, like defeat. Not full defeat, but like acceptance and mild shock. Exactly.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you. Do you know about this? Did you leave this here? What's going on?
Yeah, this is
Creepy, in a word.
Yes, this is very creepy.
No, I didn't. Well, I guess I did, in a way.
Well, take your time and explain.
I saw him.
Him?
I swallow, like, is clearly a hard topic to discuss. You know, the one we all have to face in order to get where we are.
Alright, at that point he's just going to close the door and just sort of move everyone away from the doll as he just says,
Yeah.
Alright, this is serious then.
As they've got you, like, they've moved you away from the doll, and their backs are to the doll, but you have a clear view of it. It turns to you and it winks, Samuel, before moving back into position.
Yeah. This is just one of his signs, his little messengers. Won't be the only one, I suspect. Why now? How?
Well, the how is simple. It's the doll. The question is, how do we get rid of him?
It's not the doll. It's not the doll. I wish that it were. I wish that's all that it were. But no. This is just a little parlor trick of his.
but how to get in here, because we know what this is. We're in an office where this shouldn't be here.
It's a Reaver. It does. It follows whoever it's targeting. He's targeting me again.
Well, then let's flip the script.
I sort of like, look at you, like, check, like, are you fully aware of the is that a pun, or is that are you is that coincidence that you're actually using a movie reference to, or a television movie reference for this?
No, I'm saying let's have us go after him.
No,
because we all know what's going on here. Like, it doesn't have to be said.
Yeah.
But we know we have to kill this.
Well, let's let him tell us where he is and what he's doing.
So then we all turn to this doll and start talking to it.
I pull the string.
My name's Talking Tina, and I like you.
Is he talking to, like, me or him or who? Because I'm not. I don't
It
like
just
dolls.
says that's all it says.
Oh, Jesus.
Look,
We should tell someone about this.
You do have a director.
Yeah.
Probably tell him about this.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I have an idea. Why don't I just call the boss and ask for some advice?
Well, I think we could just, like, go to his room with this doll, because this is kind of very urgent. I mean, unless it's okay that a Reaver has broken into the DCMA.
Well, that's sort of a thing. If they got in here without...
Voice lag.
Yeah, I didn't catch that.
Nope, we heard none of your words.
I'm pretty... So, as in today, I say, let me just call him up. Explain to him what's going on.
Yeah, he's on the...
Right.
We put him on speaker.
Yeah. Put it on speaker and call the boss.
You can actually hear like a crowded thing behind him on the other end of the phone. Brian, I'm going to be in the office in like 10 minutes. I'm getting everyone's coffee today. It's my turn anyway. What is it that you can't wait 10 minutes?
It's Samuel, sir. He's being targeted.
Targeted? What do you...
Yes.
So we're on speaker?
Yeah.
Yes, it's all speaker.
I'll just explain to the office that coffee will have to wait today. And he hangs up.
I think that's... He
knows what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's there in less than 5 minutes.
Okay.
And he walks through. He's a man in his mid-30s, slick back, suit, professional. I mean, he definitely looks like he's like a businessman, and that's exactly how he's trying to present himself as far as for anyone mundane when it comes to his position in the DCMA. I mean, he's as far as anyone goes, as far as his cover in the waking world, he's one of the managers of his floor, or the general manager of his particular department.
All right, well, I'm going to stand at attention for him and greet him properly.
So, what seems to be the problem? What do you mean he's being targeted? Samuel?
I saw my nemesis, my Reaver, tonight. He's been leaving me messages this morning.
Your nemesis is out there?
Yeah.
Well, not exactly, but it looks like it sort of left him a message, and he'll just sort of point towards the guest they have sitting on the table.
Maybe not
what
here
guest?
quite yet, but...
Wait, what guest?
What guest sitting on the
I'll
table?
turn back to the table.
And there's
Should
no
I,
doll.
facepalm at that?
Yep, there's no doll on the table.
As Brian will literally exclaim, "Oh, for the love of God!" It's
Will you
one
take
of
our
those,
word?
isn't it? As he looks at Samuel.
No. He's he's an animus. He's probably familiar, especially one of his caliber of these strange, things. Yeah. Maybe he's not here yet, but echoes, ripples of something to come.
That
Here yet.
that gnawing at your gut, or it's leaving you messages, letting you know that it's out there and eating away at you. I know that very well. I've had to deal with that twice now. And I'm not including my time where I officially became anima. I've had to deal with my own twice. I know how serious this can be. Now I have to ask you some questions, and specifically, I know you reported what you have in the file, but it's very important. You know it better than anyone else here. Will it just target you, or will it spread out?
I think the more it wraps me up in its games, it might catch others around me in its web, pull it into it's like it toys with me. It's not some sort of movie villain. It's a tormentor. It spins twisted tales, weaves webs of weird things, disturbing images. If I let it get to me, I think it could pull those around me into it as well, into the story.
That does not
I don't
bother
know,
me,
though.
Samuel. I'll be with you during this. I'll be here to help you through it. I'm ready for my team, and I'm gonna help you.
I
Same here.
give you a genuine thanks.
That's what team members do for each other.
I guess, yeah.
Well,
What do I do?
Well, you're going to have to think about where it's going to strike you from. Did it leave any clues aside from the doll? What did it say? You have to think about what it said when it manifested, because that will give you at least some inkling as to what it's going to do. They don't just randomly think. They have a purpose. They usually reveal a little bit of that idea of what they're going to do in their manifestation. The nemesises are not like your typical reavers that are like the shadowy dogs, or those that try to just ruin things because they want to ruin someone's life. They have more dimensionality than the shadows you've been dealing with before.
All this said was, I like you.
And I think back for a second, and then my eyes go wide. No, I'm right. It's not just me. He called out. He mentioned both of you, and I recall the the introduction to the episode that he provided, and at the end of my dream, to the director. That's what he said. That's what he said. And I woke up. I found his little messengers, his little toys.
Director Williams is kind of up there. He's looking at this, and he looks between the two of you. Between all three of you, and he's like, so even right from the get-go, he spread it not just to you, not just to torment you, Samuel, but he's spreading it to those that are close to you. How did he say? What did he say? Like, did he give an inkling as to what he was mentioning about them?
You better remember.
Anything. Because even the smallest word, the turn of phrase, or action could have domino effects, ripple effects of what it might mean. Because you need a lead. The fact he's spread out for more than just you means it's going to get big.
It was right after we left the hospital. I lived through that night again. It was 3 days ago now. We were leaving the hospital, and then would it be possible to try for a role? I unfortunately, out of character, don't recall the specific wording. However, this might be a good opportunity to show how roles work.
Exactly.
I might be able to recover. It's hard to recover or to remember your dreams, probably even as an animus.
To be honest, actually, Anima remember all their dreams perfectly.
Oh, well.
So, actually, I can just give you exactly what he said.
Okay.
I will read it out to you. Oh, no worries. I will read it out to you again. And I will spare you the impression. But,
I like the impression.
Okay.
Good impression.
I'll do it one more time, just for you guys.
Very good impression.
Thank you.
Hooray!
Yay!
Introducing three men. Brian J. Cartwright, a student with nowhere to go, little ambition, and subject to his own malaise until confronting his own sloth. Patrick Miller, a cop who walked the beat, shackled to his desk until he turned the key. And Samuel Pritchard, computer technician and novelist, trapped by reliving nostalgia in his every waking moment, even when he believes he escaped. What you have just witnessed is an occurrence all too common in a world that turns a blind eye to it. Beneath its mundane layer lays a brightness of forgotten dreams and lost magic. The three men you have just seen are examples of this truth. Unfortunately, not all dreams are wonderful, and not all magic pure or innocent. For in that same layer of brightness, long shadows stretch between dimensions. Dimensions not only of light and sound, but of mind. One of these men has become an unwitting conduit to one such dimension, and has, through the bond with his fellow man, has connected them all to the Twilight Zone.
And so the director hears him recite that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unwitting conduit. I don't know. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know what it means.
It probably means that you just accidentally let him in somehow.
Well, that's what the doubt does when it gets to a point where it feels that you're being too much of a problem, or decides it wants to crush the problem with something own personal. It'll manifest one's nemesis. Mm-hmm. Sometimes no one knows exactly when their nemesis will show up. It all depends on whether the doubt wishes to crush them now or later. What's concerning me is what he's mentioning. He's brought up character flaws or situations before you became what you became.
Well, I think my flaw is actually rather good. I got rid of something.
You unlocked something. You got the key. I don't know what that means. I don't need to know, but...
He does kind of insinuate that we didn't really escape from everything.
Yeah. Then again, I guess you were right. I guess, we never really escaped from the doubt.
Well, you never really can.
Yeah. Well,
at this point, I'm going to make sure I get my agents to be on the lookout. I'll try to warn other departments in case something he may be doing is in another area of jurisdiction. Regardless, I will make sure that people are on this, but you guys you three are in this. You three are his targets. You have to think about this. You have to think about what he's going to do, where he's going to go, what he might do to push you. Because he's a torment reaver, yes?
Yeah.
He's going to push you. He's going to push you with the things that you don't want to confront.
Maybe.
Now,
go ahead.
I don't mean to just say, get out of the office and go hit the streets or anything like that, but I don't think you're going to be able to find anything here just sitting at the office waiting for another message to pop up.
Yeah.
I have Samuel's back the entire way.
All right.
Maybe I
I'm
should
gonna make
go revisit some old places that I haven't been in a while, but have meaning.
All
Maybe
right.
that'll give some context.
We
Draw on
can
how.
totally go there on my bike if Ben's chat is fine, because he keeps dropping out.
Okay.
All right. You guys go do something you need. Find anything. Just, I'm going to make some phone calls. We'll see where we go.
Okay.
Now, get out there, try and find something, because the longer it's out there, the worse it's going to get.
Yeah.
Will do, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
Huh.
Oh. Ben's going to have to do a restart. Okay.
Oh, no.
That's fine.
Should we just have, like, a ride on my bike around town then? Like, watching stuff?
Yeah. I'll do a small little montage, because at this moment it's just you taking a nice drive through Chicago. I'll just
Brian's,
say...
like, out.
Brian's. Let's just say for at least you guys are going to a den after driving around for a little while. You guys with maybe little to few leads at this moment in time. You're sitting down at a local Denny's.
Racking our brains trying to think.
It's been like 4 hours. You've been exploring certain areas, and you're not sure exactly what. And once or twice the doll does show up again.
But just repeats the same thing?
When you guys pull the string, it just says, "My name's Talking Tina, and I like you."
And it's only been saying the same thing over and over again, right, Samuel? Nothing different?
Not when... Hey, well, where are we right now? Well, it doesn't matter. Wherever we are.
Denny's.
Let me...
This is like the third time it's shown up at this point.
Not when there's somebody else here, but...
But...
Step into the other room for a second. I want to try. It might see something different.
I trust you. If anything happens, let loose a blood-curdling scream and I'll come charging in. And then I leave the room.
You don't have to ask. I'm sure it'll be quite instinctual. So I wait for my companion to leave the room, and I look back at this doll, this creepy children's toy that looks like it was, it's about 40 years too old to be something that any child would play with these days. I set my jaw. I pull the string, back away half a step, so trying to maintain some degree of courage and composure, and see if
It turns its head to you as you pull the string and goes, "My name's Talking Tina, and they're going to hate you."
I take the I process this. I grit my teeth. I don't respond to it. I just take the doll. I throw it in the garbage. I open the door. More are gonna be coming. I don't know where, but more. They're not gonna be happy. Maybe. And then sort of a light bulb, goes off in my head. This sounds crazy, but I walk towards the door. Let's go back to my place for a second. Maybe we should go to the source. Yeah, yeah. That doesn't even immediately make sense to you. But I explain as we move through this Reaver, this personification of the doubt. It takes the form of that old TV program, the Twilight Zone, in black and white. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I used to watch that show endlessly, over and over and over and over again. It was creepy, but it was, interesting too. I guess that weird mixture of, fascination and revulsion. I don't know, maybe there's something weird in my psyche. There's some affinity to those themes. I don't know, but maybe by watching some of these old programs, we might be able to, maybe some message will come through. After all, that's how this Reva manifests. That doll, that's a a set piece from one of the episodes. Some demon doll that eventually. I think for a second, I look around to make sure there aren't any stairs where a roller skate might be. I can meet my end like that father. But maybe there's some clue. Maybe something we've missed. Maybe by watching it, we'll be able to find some clue as to where it's going to show up next. That's the best guess I have right now. What do you think?
I hope you have Netflix, because that's exactly what we're going to do.
I do. Everybody does. But
and you queue up that exact episode, and you watch it. And
spooks are had.
Yes.
And for the most part, it's exactly as it is. It seems to fit the exact pattern of the episode, and the fact that the doll only says the mean things and displays its weird powers when only in the presence of the father, or if in the presence of others, it'll just be a normal talking Tina doll.
Right.
And just say, I like you, and will sometimes move and wink and do things even in front of others when they're not looking at it, and only the person in specification is looking at it. It also seems impossible to get rid of.
Yeah.
And you said the father dies somehow in this episode?
Yeah.
And yes, he actually trips down some stairs. I can't remember if it was the roller skate or the doll itself was sitting on the stairs and he slipped on it and broke his neck.
It was one or the other. I think it was the doll.
Yeah.
Because the mother finds it afterwards, and then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So rule number 1: keep you away from stairs.
Apparently. But.
And this doesn't seem to have anything directly related to our case with the Reaver. Though it's definitely this show and this doll.
Could
Patrick, your phone rings.
Okay.
Alright, I answer my phone. I couldn't guess to who it is.
It's actually the director.
Ah. Alright, hello, sir.
Okay, and the voice he gives you is a very steady, even, but very serious. Okay, Patrick?
Mm-hmm.
Don't panic.
I won't, sir.
I need you to listen to me very carefully. I need you to be very, very calm, and don't panic.
Should I let Samuel hear this as well, or?
Are you near television? Can you change to the news?
Yes, of course. And then I tell Samuel to do that.
Mm. And the news comes on, and it's a report about a local shopping mall. Appears to be under there's a police perimeter around a Chicago shopping mall. Apparently, from what the news reporter is stating, is that a number of people have gone into a sort of frenzy and have started attacking other shoppers. And a few have actually died. The thing that catches your sight, though, is as there's some footage going on about some of these people, like in like mad frenzy, like eyes wide, bloodshot, as they're like trying to leap on other people and stuff like that. As you catch a sight of someone you recognize in the crowd, of people trying to flee further into the mall, it's your wife.
Oh, Christ. So we need to get down there now. Is this like related to the Reaver thing? I asked the director.
The behavior's not natural, but the thing is that it's surrounded by officers, and at this point, there's too much tape right now. They're treating it as we're treating this as a waking world jurisdiction.
So we can't interfere in this, can we?
No. You are no longer part of the police force. You don't have the authority to go there.
I might not have the authority, but I have the connections to. Are you ordering me not to?
I'm not saying not to go after your wife, but I'm just saying that if you get directly involved, you will be put up for review.
I'm fine with this. So, can I ask you, as like the Dreamweaver, can we go from here through like the waking world to that shopping mall, like not in our physical bodies?
It would take quite a bit of dream walking, but you could do it.
Could I just not like bring my motorcycle to ride, even if I'm like in the dream?
The problem is with dream walking is that your physical bodies would stay behind, and if the issue is a more physical one, you and your dream waking forms aren't going to be able to do much. It will give you a chance to sort of see an idea of what's going on inside the mall, what might be afflicting these people, and maybe through dream logic be able to get us some insight as to the structure of the mall. It won't be perfect because what's represented in the dream will sometimes be very different from what's in the waking world. So you could dream walk, you could get there, but I can't guarantee. But it's uncertain as of right now whether or not being in the waking world will be enough to deal with the situation.
At this point, I think I'm ready to try anything. So okay. I'm going to ask Samuel if he's ready to go and do that with me.
Where are we going? Why are we going to the... There's a riot going on. What's the deal?
My wife happens to be in that riot, and I can't let anything happen to her.
Oh. Yeah, let's... Of course.
Alright, but I think we do want to get closer to this mall or grocery store. Mm. So, can we ride over there, and is there a place that we can, like, find and hole up, and then go take a nice nap?
Yep. There's definitely plenty of places you could probably find. You could probably get a park bench. There's actually a park not too far from it. You could probably just sit down on a park bench and take a bit of a snooze.
Before we go, like, get, like, I'm actually gonna, quickly, change out of the disheveled clothes. I'm back, back at my apartment. But I'm gonna take, unless we're, Patrick seems ready, like, we gotta go right this second, right now, like.
I'm pretty sure we gotta go, like, right this second, right now.
Okay. Then I hurry up and.
All right, but careful on the stairs. So we get on my motorbike, we ride down to this park near the mall, and I want to check the surroundings to make sure that, like, there's nothing strange, like, animus related going on in this area. Because I'm still kind of on edge about this whole Reaver thing, and I know they could be tricky, and I know that this might be a trap.
Well, from what you're looking around, it's hard to tell that much of anything from the mundane world, because really when it comes to anima and even Reavers and stuff like that, it all depends a lot more on the dream-walking state to be able to see certain things as they really are. Sometimes there's certain things that the anima can see, like certain waking world, like certain Desinins that come from the dreaming that are inhabiting the waking world, they see them as they really are. So like a Minotaur bartender or an angel pawn shop owner, things like that. They'll actually see them as they actually are, though the mundane people will see them as normal people. But
none of that business is near here.
None of that business is near here, no.
Does there seem to be any, like, mundane, legitimate reason for this riot? Like, there's a strike going on, or...
well, the way the news is putting it, it seems like it seems as you keep looking at like the news and stuff, certain reports are having very conflicting reports as to what may have caused the riot. Some are saying some say some people are taking a certain sale a bit too far, like what you see on a Thanksgiving Day, Black Friday. But that makes no sense. This is October. We're at least a month away. And there's others saying that a small rabies outbreak has happened, but rabies does not spread that fast, and not amongst that many people in one location. The reports are very conflicting, but most people are kind of writing it off. But it is definite signs for people who are trained with anima to know that something is not right, because the doubt is clouding people's perceptions of what is actually going on there. There's definitely something more than just, oh, it's rabies, or there's a smash sale going on.
Right.
You will definitely see there's something else going on when you get there.
I take that for what it is, and I'm quite convinced that at least to me, it's connected to what I'm experiencing as well.
Brian, you probably received a call
or a
text or something to meet at a certain park. You had split off during this time to explore certain other avenues and haven't really found anything. But they sent you an emergency message to get to this park now. We'll fill you in. And you just now arrived, having taken a taxi and thrown the money at the cab driver and rush over to where they are by the park bench. So you guys can go ahead and start to fill them in.
All right, so there's a raging mob going on, and my wife's in the middle of it, and we gotta deal with that now.
Holy crap! All right.
But we also have to be wary.
Yeah, something's not right here. This isn't normal. There's no legitimate mundane reason for this to be happening.
It's clear it's got to do with Samuel, but we got to do something about this. If not just for my wife, but for all these civilians here.
Yeah.
All right, let's just proceed with caution, as Brian will sort of like make sure that he has something, probably like a necklace, sort of hidden like under his shirt right now, and then we'll sort of breathe easily and say, as long as we stick together and just proceed with caution, I think we should be all right.
And
I'm going to send a question in the next fest.
Oh, you're sending a question in the message.
Patrick,
yes.
you used to be a cop. I'm sure you know a lot of these patrol officers. I'm sure some of them have. Is any of them? I'm sure you're friends with some of them. They met your wife at some function, or I don't know if you guys are friends outside of. You guys still keep in touch. Maybe you could ask if there's anyone you know working this situation, if they've seen her. Maybe ask her to get out of here. I don't know.
Ask to help her get out of here somehow.
Yeah, I mean, you guys know each other, right? I mean,
I think we can. Right? Can I jog over to the mall and try to grab someone that I recognize from my life as a desk jockey and try to beg them to help my wife out of this?
Well, remember also, you were on the beat before you were put back behind the desk, so there might be a few buddies that you worked the beat with before even you got onto the desk. So it might take a little bit. How about you do me a favor, and we'll do a roll here, actually.
All right.
Let's do this as a social.
I've got leadership and interrogation.
I'm going to say leadership because you got some connections with these cops, and you can have at least some of that cop authority still going on. Like I'm looking for the person in charge, or whoever is here. You know how cops work and stuff like that. So I'm going to say it's a perception, which is because you are searching specifically for people.
Right.
Perception, social, leadership.
All right. So roll my over/under and then add my thing.
Yes. So.
All right. Sweet.
So.
All right. So 20 is my
20 total?
total school. Yeah.
Okay. So the target number was a 15, so you got 5 cap. So here's what I'm going to do as far as cap is concerned. You can, for every 1 point of cap you spend, will decrease the search time by 10 minutes. It's going to take you probably at least, like, because of how people are being tight-lipped, having to fight through mobs and stuff, it's probably going to take you an hour. So every 1 point you spend will reduce the time. However, if you spend 3 cap, you will find someone someone more willing to help you out in this situation. So.
All right. So if I've determined, like, if I know it'll take like a really long time for this, can I decide, due to the urgency of the situation, that we should just go into the dreamscape or the waking world?
That's up to you.
Yeah.
You might start. I mean, your options are your own. You might decide that this is going to take too long. Like I said, I gave you the option. You have 5 cap. You could reduce it down to a 10-minute search to get someone, or a possibility of signing someone.
You should talk to your friends. If you think that's a good idea, I can stay back and see what I can see.
I think we can handle this situation better. So I think we should go in as a team to figure out what's going on here. Because the director did also, like, kind of push us towards this with caution.
Okay, I'm like clearly, sort
Distraught.
of following your sort of lead. You were a cop, and there's some of that authority. I'm, nobody who knows anything about about this stuff.
I'm pretty sure we can go in and we can diffuse this entire situation and deal with this. Because this is clearly something related to our field of expertise.
I think so you're suggesting we go
into the dreamscape.
We shed our the physical.
Yeah.
We astral project, as it were.
All right.
If
so
Brian's okay with this, just silent Brian over there.
That'll work for me.
All right.
I'm not used to fighting these things in the waking world.
I don't think any of us are. Yeah.
So you guys are all going to confirm. You guys are all going to dream walk into the mall.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that takes conviction, correct?
Yes, it'll cost 10 conviction from each of you to go into the dreamwalk state.
Done.
So, for those of you watching this thing, when one goes into a dreamwalk state, basically the anima have the ability to go to sleep whenever they want. They can do this anytime whatsoever.
Specifically huddled on a park bench, cuddling very nicely.
Yep. So, but in certain respects, sometimes they can bring the part of the waking world and sort of like manifest it into the dream, so they can actually see what the world will look like under the view of the dream, or what people may have certain perceptions about certain areas or certain things that are hidden from view that even the anima can't see, like the trail of a reaver or manifestations of certain other things. So, you guys close your eyes, you go into that state, and you pull yourselves out. You pull the waking world into your dreams, and you manifest it somewhat successfully, and you find yourself standing over your own bodies. And you are not in the forms of your waking forms. You are in the forms of your anima. You start with 100, Ben.
Right.
And so it's weird for us to be in our anima, just straight out?
No, that's normal.
It's normal?
It's normal. Waking world, that's something they did with the rules change from to the full thing. You automatically manifest in your anima state when you dream walk. So if you could go ahead and describe what you look like and what you are in your animus form.
Well, I'm an awesome cyber cop, so I am a cyborg who has like their gun attached to their arm with an amazing piercing red eye that has like a laser scope. And I'm very like formal and clearly not someone you want to just straight up mess with.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Brian looks sort of like right out of like some sort of like fantasy novel. Think like a sort of wandering like monk almost, except he's got like a short sword tied to his like belt. He's got a bunch of like hunting and trapping equipment, and he's got a very odd but old-looking like pendant around his neck with some sort of very old symbol on it that sort of resembles, I guess, what could almost be a spider, but he almost exudes this sort of like a natural light or glow, as though like the sun was just rising far off in the distance.
I compliment you on that look, because I enjoy fantasy.
Yes.
And Samuel.
Standing over Samuel's sleeping form is a man in a shabby suit, tie that's, it's been worn for days, slightly loose and askew, deep furrows of worry, frown marks in the face, furrows in the forehead, brown hair, brown eyes, about 5'10", average build. His age is hard to pinpoint. Could be late 30s, early 40s. It's not sure. You're not sure, and whenever the tendency is for your gaze to sort of pass over him, as if a supremely forgettable figure, someone who blends into a crowd, doesn't stick out. A somehow more superhumanly average figure standing amidst you all.
Well, this looks reminiscent of your nemesis, I suppose.
I suppose we take some of the light and some of the light along with the dark, I suppose.
All right, so what do we see happening at the mall now that we've all got our awesomeness out of the way?
For the most part, as you're looking at your surroundings in this waking dreamlike state, the sky is a brighter blue than it has been before, except for when you start turning your view towards the mall itself, and you see the mall itself looks very, like, one half of it looks like it's like derelict, like it's been like boarded up, patchwork, like some sort of Frankenstein's monster of a decrepit mall of what it used to be. And the other half is looking like this sort of like overtly gaudy symbol of basically marketing and selling and consumerism. Like the colors are like bright, but it's not like the appealing sort of bright. It's like the gaudy, like we're marketing kind of idea. It's like it's loud gaudy, and it sort of has, despite that, it has a sort of like beckoning in, and you can almost feel like the idea that you want to spend on these things, but you can kind of see this decrepit, derelict side sort of starting to bleed over very, very slowly into the side of the mall that has this overtly gaudy sort of look to it. And overhead, you can kind of see like this like threatening sort of like purplish sort of haze in the sky over it.
All right,
You don't really see people from this distance. You'd have to get closer. And I'm assuming you already do, and it's
well, no.
simple enough.
Instead of getting closer, I have a flying drone I can summon, right?
Yes, you do.
Can I see through that drone? Because it's a drone.
You do have. I'm going to make the call that yes, you can do that.
All right. Can I send that closer?
You can indeed. So you send that drone out, and you're watching on your own computer panel and stuff like that, and it's.
Do these guys see too?
They can. If you let them look,
you probably like lean over your shoulder as you got probably like the hollow like emitter on your wrist. Like,
yeah, I want to make sure everyone can see what's going on.
Yeah, you're not sure how long it takes. You're not sure if it takes you a minute or 10 minutes. It's hard to judge in dreams, even in this state. But regardless, you get it over there, and you're peeking out through the windows and such. And as a matter of fact, actually, you kind of take it inside. You're not exactly sure how. But it just so happens that you were able to just pass it over through a window at one point and start being able to scan the area. It's hard to see people in there. People who are not anima do not really show up, or people who are not sleeping do not really show up in the dreamscape. However, you do begin to see darker shadows plaguing certain individuals. Like they actually. In a certain respect, well, when an anima or someone who is sleeping shows up in there, they seem like brighter, more vivid, and colorful, like they're almost like a rainbow sparkle effect. Imagine this is almost like a dark mirror opposite of this, like they're being plagued by cloying shadows that are dancing around their eyes and just writhing around their heads and stuff like that. They're very clearly defined, and it takes you a bit. But you begin to realize that there's maybe 30 of these individuals, and they are roaming around, and you see some of them like lash out at people, like they seem to like clearly connect to some kind of pale shade or something, and it doesn't always happen, but sometimes when a punch lands, suddenly a bit of the shadow is left behind. And then it starts clawing into the shade, which becomes more defined, more figured, but it becomes one of them, and then they join in the frenzy. It's a slowing, spreading hate.
So I think we all understand what we really need to get rid of here.
Agreed. We need to find the source of this infection.
Well,
Boy,
we
this
got...
does sound familiar, though, doesn't it?
A little bit, yeah. But all we got now are these are spreading it, and we have the giant purple cloud overhead. So, do either of you know anything about giant purple clouds?
I'm afraid I don't. That's not something I've ever dreamed before or seen, even in my dream walking. I can't. Looks like a manifestation of all that negativity, but I can't be sure. But
So, what we need to do right now is get close, get rid of the things that are spreading this hatred, this violence, and then probably we'll be fine.
Question.
Yeah.
You said, so regular waking mundanes do not manifest much on the other side. Do they manifest at all? Would it be possible to reach out from here and touch, not physically touch, but sort of touch the mind of someone on the other side, if we were able to find out where stand on the other side of the mirror from where they are.
They're kind of translucent. It's hard to do that when they're not asleep. It's basically near impossible to do that while they're asleep. They're basically just ghosts passing by. I mean, If you're looking for someone very specific, it may take you a while, but you could find someone like that.
Okay.
The problem is, as the drone starts beeping in the recording, a warning, the figures have the now 31 figures have suddenly converged on an area. As far as you can tell, see, it's like a barrier that seems to be composed of like light and well, it seems to be composed of light. You're not exactly sure what that might represent, whether it's a brightness of hope or security. It could mean a number of things, but you can see like shades of figures huddled there, and it seems that these figures are like trying to break through this barrier, trying to get at these figures behind it.
Okay, so we gotta go and stop that now. Because we all agree the light is good.
Is there any way we can see if there's a way to get in without drawing a lot of attention, or is there just not enough people out in order to get an idea from how we're able to...
There isn't even a crowd here, right? Because there's no one's manifesting.
Well, the thing is that you're beginning to realize is that here's the thing I'm going to give. You know what? I'm going to give an inspiration kind of roll here.
Delightful.
Actually, let's make this a intelligence and academics, and if you have the occult advanced skill, you can apply that.
Is this for any of us in particular? Or all
any of you?
Well, I do not have a cult, I am sure with that.
Yep.
I certainly do.
Well, you go ahead and do this lovely
roll. I
roll.
have a cult, but I have an advanced skill that is sort of similar. I wasn't exactly sure where the advanced skills were, so I just sort of put what sounded cool and fitting.
What would it be?
I'll type it into the thing.
Go ahead and make that roll.
Ooh, demonology.
I'll consider that under occult, so go ahead and roll that.
It's a very specific part of the occult.
I know, right?
Right.
It was, how many... What was the dice again for this?
It's 2d10. One's your over, and the other is your under. So one's a positive, one's a negative, and you roll them, you add them together, and you determine what the positive or negative to that total is.
All right.
4 for me.
Okay, so
plus 4
for both.
Plus 4.
So you got 8 for both. Well, then it's a net bonus of 0. So you're rolling it. So your skill is exactly at its base. So.
And then you add it to your
so it's
thing. That's right.
Intelligence plus your academics plus your occult or in the demonology.
All right.
26.
26 for you.
I got 12 then.
Okay. Well,
one of those will get us through this.
Well, Ben, you've got enough here. You only got 2 cap, which unfortunately is not going to be able to do much for you at this moment. But you do know enough that basically the fact that these shadows are manifesting means you can manifesting themselves in this way. You can. It's quite possible you could actually interact with just the shadow forms that are plaguing these people. For you, Nick.
I'll definitely chime in with that.
You've got a 26, right?
Yes.
Well, you have 16 cap to spend, and for every 4 cap you spend, I'm going to give you a bit more information on ways you can combat the situation.
This is to sort of just like rack my mind?
Yeah, exactly. So if you're using all 16 of your cap, that's 4 things.
Yeah, I will.
Yeah. Okay. So 4 ways you could do this. The easiest way, and probably the best route, especially given the nature of the situation, is it's probably certain that you guys can actually just, in your animus forms, go up to these shades and using your abilities, just destroy them and clear them of their minds. If you had
Right,
a
shoot them in the face.
Exactly. You won't actually be hurting the actual people. They might slump down unconscious, but you will be relieving them of the shadows.
Okay.
You might... Another option would be if you had an like someone who had magical power to exorcise this being, this hate from them. That's also a possibility. The more mundane-ish way you could do it is to just go in there and either like knock them out or tase them, but that would be putting you at significant physical risk considering the number of them. And the fourth option would be to seal them away in a magical barrier and in containing them and hoping it just burns away. But I think it's pretty clear which option you guys are going to go for considering your time.
Absolutely.
We are
And
so going
do
to
we
go
have
there,
a way to exercise them? Because I think
all we have to
still
do
have
is just
that
beat the
priesthood.
crap out of them in our animus form, because we can't actually interact with the physical world in this form, just the dream realm. So
exactly, all you're doing is you're attacking the dream hate that is over them.
I don't know how to exercise.
Yeah, it's like we're not beating them up.
Yeah.
We're just beating up like the bad vibes that are on them.
So
We're still beating people up.
Yeah,
No.
you're just kind of, but not really.
But definitely.
You're beating the hate around their head. So.
All right. So.
Go for it.
Is there a place where we can like set up away enough from them to draw fire in at least two different directions? So like just one straight lane for them to go in, and like we're on the left and right.
Well, if you're wanting to, you have to get closer. None of you have the weaponry, except for the drone, to be able to affect them this far. I mean, then the drone only has so much it can actually do as far as like firepower. It has a limited amount of ammo.
If we get
closer,
does it look like these guys are concentrated enough on the wall that we can sneak up to them?
Just to give you guys another thing, they are totally not going to be aware of you. They are not actual Reavers. If they were actually Reavers, they would be aware of you in this space. This is like a cakewalk. You can just walk in there and clear their heads. No problem. You don't have to be stealthy about this. You're dream walking. No one in the physical world's going to know, except that they're just going to slump over unconscious in the physical, and no one's going to go, well, maybe they just succumb to the fever or something. The doubt will find a way to cloud it.
Minor sprites of doubt which are latching onto these people, not fully formed entities.
I'm going to take your words at face value, and I think we're all ready to just strut in and kill these people.
Yes, most
However,
definitely.
one thing, though, is that I got a question. Like, in order to return to our waking souls, we just have to will it correctly. We don't have to actually return to our bodies, right?
Exactly. You just wake up. That's all you need to do.
In that case, I suspect that this might be some sort of trap, so he's actually going to take the pendant that's around him and activate his 5 artifact, the amulet of the spider, and he's basically going to sort of walk a circle around himself, using it to sort of create this webbing around them. So if somebody, as say for instance the Nemesis, tries to go to their slumbering bodies in the dreaming world, he might get caught up in it, or one of his minions might, or something.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, so it'll create a barrier, at least from dream shades or anything that might be trying to harm your bodies, both in the dreaming and in the waking world. So anything supernatural or touched by the doubt or that kind of stuff will have a difficult time at the very least.
Right. Then he'll just sort of replace the necklace around his neck, and
you begin to realize as you guys have been discussing this too, is the barrier is starting to crack.
And did that cloud get bigger?
It is starting to become a lot more ominous, that's for sure.
Alright, I think we gotta run over there.
Yep. So with the speed of dreams, which either takes a long time or not that much time at all, you're there. You're in the wall, and you see the derelict crumbling and the cracks in the walls, along with the gaudy, bright neon signs of sail, sail, sail. In other areas, and you see the barrier, and you see the cracks being to crumble. You see some of these shades trying to climb over and reach through the cracks, trying to lash at someone, and the shades are all huddled back in the back over there.
All right, well,
it's only a matter of time. You don't have much time, so you need to get acting ASAP. Your drone is still hovering above them, just so you know. So.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go ahead and have my drone and myself shoot at the 2 highest or closest people to breaking over. And I can't set up my turn as a free action, can I?
To be honest, like I said, this is very much an easy cakewalk. You guys have a solution here that's very easy. This is not going to take...
You keep saying easy, and I just keep hearing something horrible is going to happen in a minute.
You'll be fine.
Put it this way. They are completely unaware of you. They can't do anything to you, at least from the knowledge that you guys have. The only thing you have to do is time. So here's what I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have you do either however you wish to deal with the situation. Either you're doing your firearms, or you're doing a melee, or some form of magic. Whatever it is you decide to do, you let me know what you're going to do, and I'll have you roll it, and we'll determine how effective and how many you get down before they try to motivate to break down more of the barrier.
Well,
So
I'll tell these guys, since I think I have the ranged weapons, I'll take the ones that are the closest to, like, breaking this wall.
All right.
Sounds
All right,
good.
then I'll go inside. I'll use situation or unlocked awareness, and then basically just go into hunter mode and just cut a bloody swath through those shadow creatures with my short sword.
All right. Cool. And what are you going to do?
So I will not be actively using, violence. I have no ability to do such. Rather, I'm going to sort of shuffle forward slowly in the direction of these shambling spirit things, and I'm going to routinely use my blind spot ability to sort of confuse them. I'm there for a second, this one lone, weak-looking individual appears, then the blind spot, then the appearing somewhere else nearby, confuse them.
So here's what I'm going to have to do. So you're doing firearms, Patrick?
Yep.
So roll me your firearms and your handgun. Let me know what you get.
So that's just the same type of roll?
Yeah, you're using perception, firearms, and handguns, and the over-under. Nick, you're doing a shaping roll, so go ahead and use your shaping score and the over-under. And Brian, since you're using weaponry, use your weaponry skill however you need to do it. So agility plus weaponry, since you're using cutting swaths. So just let me know what you guys get, and I'll let you know how.
Over 6 and under 5.
Okay, so you're getting a +1.
All right then, so it's going to be 12.
I don't need reactions. It's fine.
And my total is 29.
29, nice. So you got it.
So high with that.
Well, it's a base of 30.
You have a. I mean.
I don't know. I didn't make the sheet.
He's a cop. He has a specialty in handguns. Don't worry. There's other things he makes up for it. Don't worry about it.
I'm just afraid I might have accidentally skipped a step on character creation. That's all.
No worries. What did you get as far as the total, Ben?
It was 6 weaponry, 5 with the speciality, 6 agility. So that's going to be. Oh no, that's 17. So 18 actually.
There you
18.
go.
Okay, cool. See, actually not bad at all. And considering they have no way to defend themselves, this is just like I'm just doing this for my own reasons. And Nick, what was yours?
A 5.
A 5. So you've got a base success. That's fine.
Oh, nice.
So you are manifesting your abilities, and that's fine. So
Nice.
I'm going to take this as far as the cinematic because you guys got more than enough successes, and considering this is like nothing at all.
Sure.
The gunfire comes down not only from your own handgun, but from your drone, and it comes down and it's like picking off one by one. Poof, poof, poof. Like you see as every gunshot is fired, the haze just sort of pops, and the shade becomes less defined, and it sort of slumps away. And more than like you get at least 12 of them you're just rapid firing into this crowd. It's just poof, 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 poof. 12 of them go down. You, like a whirling dervish, Brian, just cut a swath through them. You managed to take down at least. There may not be exactly a real physicality to it. They're more like shadows, but you still have a little bit of a swath you have to cut through. So you managed to get at least 8.
Nice.
Nick, you're using your confusion on them. It's actually believe it or not, it's actually working. It's kind of like having them a hard time trying to focus where their rage needs to be. So they're starting to destabilize a bit. You managed to get. You're still having some issues from your own conviction, though. It's still that gnawingness of knowing what exactly this is, who exactly did this, and in some respects, almost the knowledge that you're the reason these people, maybe not directly, maybe not intentionally, but you're the reason these people have got here. But you managed to get at least 3 of them through your confusion of blinking in and out to dissipate out of existence. So
we have like 5 left or something.
There's only 5 left. And they're still beating at the barrier. But the barrier destruction has really significantly slowed as most of these bodies have slumped. But they're still going at it. They're not reacting to you whatsoever.
Finish them off if we can.
So I'm gonna just shoot him again.
Yep. And I'm just gonna say you guys clean it up.
All right, sweet.
Yeah, it's done. You have saved them all from the raging horde. Brian,
so the question is, how do we fix the barrier?
The world for you shakes a little, Brian. Imagine sort of like the camera of your vision sort of like shakes. Everything else stays still, but everything else has shaken. This is actually something that usually happens when someone is trying to shake you awake, or something is happening in the waking world that is interfering with your body, or something is moving on you.
And so he'll try to will himself to return.
And you do.
Well, we still have that net.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, when you wake up, you realize that your phone is ringing and vibrating.
What? Oh. And so he just sort of picks it up, flips it, it's like, this is Brian.
Hey, Brian? You recognize the voice on the other end. It's your sister, Emily.
Oh. Hey, sis, what's up?
She sounds really out of it, by the way. Really out of it. Hey, I'm sorry. I'm at work here, and I'm not going to be able to come to lunch today. I know we set this date up, but I'm just not feeling it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just really tired today. I'm not going to be able to go there. I mean, yeah, I can't really get out of the office right now.
No, it's all right. We can always just reschedule. But are you feeling all right? You sound really tired.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine. Well, I mean, there's been a few people who've been trying to get me to move here. Apparently, there's a bomb in the office, but
what?
I'm just not really feeling moving right now.
God. You got to get out of the office.
You see that?
It's the police?
Yeah, that's what they've been saying, but I mean, they say that, and then they kind of decide that maybe it's not really worth the trouble.
Listen to me, Ellie. You've got to listen to what they're saying. You can always just.
Brian,
when you get home.
Nah, Brian. I mean, it's not necessarily a nap I need. I'm just not feeling it. You know, I'm not feeling like I need to leave my desk, or really much of anything. I'm actually surprised I even picked up the phone. I wasn't really sure I wanted to call. Anyway, sorry I'm not going to be able to get to lunch.
Forget about lunch.
I'm sure
need
this.
to get out of that office.
Yeah, I'm sure this bomb situation will get resolved. It's fine. Anyway, You have a good one. I'll talk to you later.
Wait,
And
don't
she
forget-
hangs up.
Uh,
Oh, this is good.
would you excuse me for a second, folks? And he will then just re-enter. You'll spend the 10 conviction to go back into the dreamscape.
Yeah.
And we'll all turn to you and be like, what the hell, man?
We gotta get to my sister's work right now. Something else is going on. Apparently there's some sort of bomb threat. She's not acting like herself. I don't know what's happening, but I think somebody is messing with her. It's like she's lost the will to do anything. And then he'll pause for a second, then he'll go, no, it couldn't be. So
Couldn't
be-
send your drum.
Let's talk about this. Or were you going? What were you saying?
As he'll go over to Peter and he'll say, quick, send your drone over to the office. Here's the address. I need to see something.
Okay, I can do that from here, right?
Well, is the office like on the other side of the city, or is it like nearby?
Through the travel through dreams, anything's possible.
Okay,
Right.
sweet. So as I'm sending the drone over there, can we somehow inspect this barrier that has almost been broken? And is that cloud still here?
The cloud is gone, actually. The world's starting to get its color again. And the barrier doesn't have that same glowing feel at the moment. The shades are starting to come out. It seems other shades from across the barrier are starting to come in, and people are getting like refugees and stuff like that. They seem to be. It seems that people are being evacuated and stuff. They seem to be, as far as you can tell, safe. As far as the drone flying across the city, the world becomes very ill-defined for a while because you're traveling between this thing until you finally reach an office building, which, as you see it, has become. It looks like it's very cold. And
Like snowy cold? Or like industrial cold?
Snowy cold. Like everything seems like in a chill for the most part. Like there's frost over the panes, over the windows and such. And you see that there's shades. And it's not, no one's asleep. There's no one asleep in this building, by the way. Otherwise you'd see them lighting up. But you see these shades that are kind of sitting there in sort of like a strange haze. There's a strange sort of like snake-like haze that is going through the building. Like it's going into these shades and it's shooting up their nose, or at least you think it's their nose and their orifices, and then just dissipating as they just seem to sort of slump in. They don't seem to get up or really move much or anything. It's in that moment that the drone feed suddenly cuts as a shadowy tendril suddenly whips up and...
Alright, well, for what brief little time Brian had, he's going to roll his occult again. Would you allow me to use my demonology specialty on that weird serpentine mist thing? Alright,
Yeah.
so this is going to be...
I guess I'll do likewise if that's available.
Yeah, go ahead. Both of you roll your occult.
Can I ask, like, Samuel, if he has any recent relatives we should know about, because I'm seeing a pattern here?
Okay, I got above and below 7, so it nullifies itself out, so this is just going to be a 12 again.
24.
Okay, for you, you're beginning to realize that this is definitely a manifestation of basically, like, it's a side effect of something. It's a side effect of something causing people to fall into a listlessness.
Like almost I don't want to jump to conclusions here, but almost like a slothful attitude, like just not really wanting to do anything.
Apathy.
Not really time. Apathy. Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because he's got a bit of a past with something like that, so he's going to take a deep gulp and then say, "We need to get over there and hurry," as he'll.
For you, Sam, you got 24.
Yes.
Okay, you. I'm just going to give you.
I'll spend a cap to find as much. Yes.
Yeah, basically, this is a symptom of something. This is unlike the infection that was spreading. You need to getting these people to snap out of their thing will require either personal effort or having to deal with the creature itself.
And isn't these people's own apathy? It's something else is emanating and pouring forth this malaise.
Some shade, maybe some kind of reaver that you guys have never encountered before, or maybe a manifestation of something else. You're not sure.
Right.
All
So
right.
I nod to each of you and I wake up.
Okay, but when we all wake up, I'm asking you if you have any immediate relatives that we need to know about at this point.
As you'll say, yes, my sister Emily.
By the way, the doll's on your lap.
Oh dear God.
I pull the string. I mean, the jig is up. This thing may or may not talk its truth to us. As
My name's Talking Tina, and I like you.
Unfortunately not.
Alright, so we all have our families out of the way. We know what's going on. We need to call the director. That is a thing we have to do at this point.
As I step aside and call the director, I'll glare at this goddamn doll.
As they're focused on that, it winks at you.
Oh, Jesus.
So, who's calling the director?
Samuel.
Was Samuel calling? Are you just passing hot potato on who calls the director? Okay.
Sure, I'll call the director.
Okay. So, the phone rings, and he picks up. All right, I've got a situation. Make it quick.
What was his name? Bill Williams. Bill, I think things are okay here at the mall. We didn't get physically involved. We went behind the scenes, as it were. Stepped sideways, you might say.
Well,
but
that's good.
Something's going on at the...
Where does your sister work?
At the Einstein Medical Consulting Center on 34th Street.
Yep, exactly.
There's something, I don't know, it looks like perhaps some sort of a reaver or something. I can't tell. Some malaise of apathy.
Well, you guys are going to have to deal with that because I'm dealing with at least 5 other threats and I'm short-staffed.
Okay.
If you have a lead, at this point, you guys are on your own agency. Anything you can calm down with, that's fine. Tell me, with the mall, did you find the bomb?
There was no bomb in where we were.
There wasn't a bomb that we could see.
Are you sure? Because we have received a message that there's that a number of bombs have been being discovered across the city.
There's supposed to be one at Einstein Medical Consulting.
There's got to be one inside. There's got to be one inside the mall. We're not. Some of them are set on short timers. Some of them are not. I'm not sure exactly when the timing of some of these things are going to blow. But
then we'll make sure we're taking care of things here first.
Listen.
Yes.
This is important about the bombs. Not all of them are explosives. Some of them have chemicals.
Alright, that's messed up. But I'm confident that the police, if notified about this, will handle it properly.
That's true. With the crowd gone, the police should be able to take care of things here, find whatever it is they need to find. We have to go.
Yeah, and the police are already at the Einstein Medical Facility. They're trying to get my sister out, but for some reason she's just listless. Not only that, but your drone was attacked in the dream realm. That means that there's something on the other side.
Something's still afoot over there.
So we agree we're not the ones handling the bombs. That's not a thing we're doing.
Well, unless we find something,
yes,
we've got
to trust the police for that. We just got to make sure that we will remove the obstacles in the police officer's way.
Fine.
Alright, so I think we head over to this Einstein Medical Facility.
The police might fall victim to this malaise. They're just like any other individual. Just as vulnerable.
If we know about the chemical bombs, I'm going to call the police and tell them that there are some chemical ones if they don't already know.
Right.
Well, from what Brian has heard, the sister was aware of the bomb, and apparently people were coming in to try to get people out of the building because there was a bomb, but they seem to have fallen under the same malaise.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite possible. It's quite possible that there are actually cops there. It's just that they've fallen subject to the same.
Right. They
symptoms.
went in, gung ho, but. And
I think we have to do the dream walk again. We need to go there and stop whatever creature is causing that mist.
well, we have to get there
If nothing
first.
else, maybe.
So we'll talk. We'll talk as we're in the car or on the bike or what have you, going closer to
Oh yes. Okay.
the building.
All right, so I have room for one person on my bike, so I'm gonna take Samuel.
All right. And you had a car anyway that you met us up there.
He
or
took
whatever
a
it is.
taxi.
You can find your own taxi.
All
All right, we'll
you
go
guys
take
go
a
there
taxi. We'll all take a taxi.
physically. You go there physically, and I was gonna say there's no time. There's no time. You guys go ahead of me. I'll stay here on the park bench and just astral project myself there.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
So we magic our way to the office of his
Well,
sister.
You guys take the car there.
Oh, right. We take the bike. We bike our way over there.
Right.
Yeah. So you're biking over there. That's going to take you, depending on traffic, that might take you anywhere between 15 minutes to half an hour.
All right, can I speed?
Make me a drive.
That's against the law.
Go,
No,
man.
I can do
Give me an agility plus manual plus drive if you have the drive skill.
All right.
I do have I don't have the drive skill, but I still have +5 to drive. So,
That's only if you're in your animus form, which you
is
can
it?
invoke. Yes, which you can invoke in the waking world if you wish, which will give you.
no, I'll just take it. I got a 19.
19 total?
Yep.
Alright, cool. For every 3 cap you spend, I'll reduce the driving time by 5 minutes.
Spend it all.
Spend it all? And I was just going to say that was going to be a 10, so you are reducing that. So you're going to get there in 10 minutes.
All right, sweet.
And you are going to be blowing every red light along the way.
That is fine. I'll call in favor.
So you are speeding like nobody's business whatsoever. Cars are screeching to a halt. There's definitely a pileup, at least 3 pileups on the way back there, and a few cop cars have started just spiraling their signals and are going after you. And there's you can't hear it, but there's definitely radio chatter going. We got a blah 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 on a very license plate situation. Blah blah blah.
That's fine. We're taking them to an actual crime.
Samuel, you are gripping as tight as you can because
Absolutely.
he is going over 100 miles an hour.
Terrified, but I don't
After this, you are getting your own bike. I am buying you a car.
And Brian, as they go on this rampage across Chicago, you allow yourself to close your eyes. You close your eyes and you allow yourself to turn back. So another 10 conviction to to transform. You guys keep transforming to this dream walk a lot. Anyway, well, if you have it, why not use it? So you travel there. And traveling through dreams, you're going through the dreamscape of the concrete jungle, and you reach it. And even in your animus state, as you reach the building, you breathe out, and you can feel the cold there. You can feel it, of this slothfulness. And you enter, and it's cold, and you can see snaking along the ways these smoke-like tendrils crisscrossing along the way. None of them seem to be interacting with you, at least not yet, as you begin to climb your way up the building. Make me a perception plus manual, and if you have the search advanced skill, use that as well.
Well, I also do have the unlocked awareness special ability.
And you wish to activate that?
Which is I'll activate that. It says.
So, go ahead and roll me your shaping then, which is your over/under plus your plus your shaping score, which is a 5. And you have to, when you roll your over-under, you just have to make sure you get at least a 5, regardless of the bonuses or penalties.
What was it?
Roll your over-under plus 5.
Okay, that's not good. That's over 2, under 9.
Oh, that is not good.
You are not able to manifest your unlocked awareness. There seems to be this cloying sensation of like listlessness that's coming over your senses, trying to cloud you from being able to do this. Your vision's being clouded. It's almost like you really don't need it. You don't need to have that unlocked awareness. That's not necessary for what you need to do. It just seems like too much effort.
As he'll try and shake himself out of this malaise, as he'll just try looking around, trying to remind himself that, like, the mist is not the cause, it's the result. As he just is trying to look around for the source of this cloying cold.
So, like I said, roll me your perception plus manual, and if you have the search advanced skill, add that. So over under. And if you have none of those, just your perception.
I don't have any manual, but I do have perception.
Okay, so roll your over under and your perception.
Oh, this is much better. So over 8, under 2.
Yay.
6. So what's the total?
It's gonna be 11.
11. Okay.
It's pretty good.
You have generated at least 1 cap.
All right.
And you can use that in really only one way at this moment, and that's to reduce your search time by 5 minutes.
All right, then. He will.
So what is he searching for exactly?
Oh, he has no idea, but he's assuming it's some sort of demon shadow, one of the reavers that creep out from the dreams. I mean, what else could it be unless it's... Gosh,
Bad. Alright.
And just all around.
And it takes you maybe about 10 minutes to get this. And it's about the exact same time as you find the thing and it's all its glory that these two actually pull up in front of the Institute and leap off the bike to a screeching halt.
He got there faster than us?
Yeah, because he dream walked.
Oh, Jesus, man.
Physics need not apply here.
It's dream physics.
Just spent a lot of conviction so far.
So,
Okay.
you guys pull up to here as Brian turns the corner and he comes face to face with this sort of shadowy sort of phantom where these shadowy tendrils and malaise just drips out from under the robes like as tendrils snaking around. It looks like some great like hooded phantom that reaches out toward you. I'm going to have you roll. You and I are going to roll reaction, and you two.
Do we see this as well?
Do you really want to fall asleep right now in the middle of the sidewalk while the cops are coming up? No,
like,
you do not.
Don't? Ah,
no,
shit.
because it's in the dream world.
In the dream world.
Ah.
So, I will
But
roll
he can
my...
see us. We can't see him for that.
You're not sure if he can see you because he's kind of focused on a specter that might be taking his head off here. So,
All right.
what's your total reaction, Ben?
Well, at first he's going to just see sort of these tendrils pulling towards his friends, and he's just going to sort of react instinctively. He's going to take out his short sword and see if cutting the tendrils will do anything. Perhaps they will dissipate. Or
what's your reaction?
What's your reaction?
Oh, my reaction. Oh, I thought you meant like actual reaction.
No. Well, I know what you're gonna do. I have an idea you're gonna do something. I just need to know who goes first because it's either the Phantom's gonna try and rake you to pieces, or you do something.
Okay, then. How do you calculate reaction?
So your reaction is your perception plus your agility and the over/under.
Oh, that's 11 then.
11? Okay.
Yes.
Or you.
I beat you by 2. So.
Ugh.
The Phantom reaches out to. The Phantom reaches out towards you with its arms that suddenly stretch out very violently, and it just rakes at you. And I'm going to roll its attack here. You are more than welcome to roll a defensive roll of some kind. And the way that a defensive roll works is if you have like a certain skill that you might be able to apply to this, like he's raking at you with claws. If you can roll either your reaction to try to dodge it because you're moving quickly, or you can use a certain fighting skill to try and parry it, like your weaponry because you have a sword. So it's up to you on how you want to do this. Your agility plus weaponry plus if you use. Yep. So you're gonna have to beat a 19.
Ooh.
I have to beat 19, you said?
You have to beat 19.
Last, I got 17, so that's a fail.
Gotcha.
Ugh.
Well, its claws. Either you raise your weapon, your sword, up too late, or you misjudge exactly where it's going to swing, which is actually not out of the question. It moves really weird. Its arm almost like sort of stretches suddenly out of its like usual dimension and just swipes right across your chest. And as it spends cap here to increase its own damage with these claws, you take 17 damage. So L players have 100 health.
Okay.
So, yeah, L players have 100 health. That's just the standard thing. You've lost 17. And that puts you, I believe, like 77, I want to say. Or 73,
No.
something along those lines.
What?
100 minus 17?
That is not 70. It's like 83.
83. What are you, 17, 100?
Yeah. Hold on. I want to make sure to see if you're...
83.
Definitely 83.
Meanwhile, in the waking world, where Ben's sitting there on a park bench, his body sort of lurches all of a sudden, and his stomach starts bleeding as these 3 cuts manifest themselves in the physical world.
Fine, there's EMTs nearby.
Well, they're more focused on getting people out, and not focused on the guy on a park bench.
I'll get to it.
We'll see. We shall see. But anyway, I need to check on one thing to see if you're taking wound penalties. Because you see, at every certain degree of wounds you get, the more injured you get, the harder it is for you to do things. You start taking wound penalties. I need to make sure that if you are taking
I'll look it up. You can...
Okay. Either way, so...
You'd be in extreme pain.
Yeah, you're not doing too hot. So I'm going to let you get a strike in here, Ben, to try to do something, and then I'll get to these two I'm going to ignore the wound penalty right now until we
He doesn't have a wound penalty.
He doesn't have a wound penalty yet. Done good. Go ahead and roll an attack against this thing, or whatever it is that you want to do.
Alright, so he already tried to parry it, so he'll just turn the blade around and try and go for a slice on the tendril that raked him.
Alright, so roll your thing.
5 under 1, so not bad. That's going to be a 21.
21. Well, you beat it. It only got a 15, so I believe that gave you 6 cap. And I think a short sword has quite an interesting thing as far as its damage goes for cap spending.
Alright, I'll look that up real fast.
In the meanwhile, while you're looking that up, I'll get to these two who have come up here, gone off there. So what's your game plan as you now have like the Chicago PD coming down on your asses for breaking so many red lights and speeding laws? It's not funny.
Alright, so we're at the office building.
Mm-hmm.
Is this surrounded so we cannot get in? Or are
Nope.
these police also affected?
There's still cops coming down. You're still ahead of them. There's turning around the streets and stuff like that. I mean, people are coming across. They haven't reached this building yet. There are some cop cars actually parked out here, but they're empty.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and explain to Samuel that if we get in this building, I'm pretty confident everyone else will be lethargic as well and lose this entire chase. And we can explain ourselves after.
And the police have multiple bomb threats apparently.
You have
Yeah.
6 cap, then.
So I think if we just get in this building, we'll be good enough to save his
I agree.
sister and find this bomb if it does exist.
Yeah. So we'll park the bike.
I'm not
Yeah,
parking
near-
the bike. I am bolting off of this bike into this building.
Okay. Stop the bike
Park the bike.
somewhere.
All right, I'll stop the bike for your sake.
And you run,
Right.
and literally like 10 as you guys are running towards the door, like 20 cop cars like converge from all streets, come around here onto the building.
All right, that's
Go
fine. We
into
go
the-
into
into the building, and as I do
And they're
so,
like, freeze!
No, we go in.
Yeah, I know you're going in. I know what you're doing, but they're still following their
Oh, yes.
procedures. So they're
Meanwhile,
okay.
I was going to say, like, meanwhile in the dream, like, rather than cutting through the tendril all the way, he spends 6 cap, 3 and 3, in order to give the creature bleed 6 right now, as he just sort of, in his own sort of darting motion with almost a preternatural speed, like, just sort of cuts the tendril into ribbons, but not enough way to cut it all the way through.
All right, cool. So you do that, and there's definitely like shadows. I mean, not the same tendrils spilling out of it, but there's. It doesn't give a shriek, which is the most eerie part. It doesn't make a sound, but the shadows from where you've struck it are just pooling out like blackish sludge. Yes, that's correct.
All right, sweet.
Blackish sludge into this as it sort of recoils from you, but it gets ready for another attack as it's like brings its another arm up and it comes up like for a nice clawed uppercut. So get ready for another attack. Oh well, it's not doing too well. So roll me your it's taking a -6 to its attack. So
Jeez.
So above 6.
well, it's you need above a 12 at this moment.
This is under this time, so under 3, I'm going for the parry, so that's going to be 14, so I still succeed.
You beat it. So I mean, not enough cap to really generate anything like a counterattack or anything like that, but you definitely parry it, and you can save that cap for the next round for something else. So it comes there. So you guys are running.
Yeah, we go in the building.
Yep. And a tirade of cops are coming after you. Where do you go in this building to try to avoid the cops? Are you going for the stairs? Are you going for the elevators? How are you going here? Because the cops are very vehemently like stop up. They've got some of them have their guns out. Others are just trying to tackle you.
Probably the elevator, as the elevator is closer than running all the way through an open lobby to the stairs.
Well,
All right.
actually, is there like a big open desk, like a reception desk, just like in the middle of this room?
Yep, and there's a slumped, and there's a desk receptionist there who's like looking at her fingernails as though like trying to determine like whether like it's just listless boredom. Like she's just looking at her nails, and it's like she's almost like on a repeat loop as she's just looking at this. She kind of lifts her head a little bit to sort of like gaze at you as you guys go by, but then she just goes back to looking at her nails.
All right, so we're gonna, or well, I at least, I'm going to vault over that because I want just cover and to talk to these cops and also get them lethargic like her.
I'll duck into, there's an HR office, somewhere at the front, the front
Just
of the.
go
the
to
lobby.
not near me.
What's that?
And-
I'm not one for vaulting. I'm not that
fine.
athletic.
I'm just gonna say you do the vault. You get behind the desk there.
And I like pull her down too and hide, kind of.
Yeah, she goes, hey, as it starts out like a hey. whatever.
All right, hi.
Kind of thing. As you get into the HR thing and you close the door behind you,
Does he notice
Patrick,
a doll?
A voice says, "My name's Talking Tina,
Great.
and you're all going to die."
I'm too adrenaline out, and she might be right. I don't even sort of get angry at it. I'm too caught up in the moment.
So, Ben, I'm going to have you make an attack against the shade thing real fast. I'm going to try to parry with it, and then I'm going to get to Patrick here to see how he's going to attempt to talk down these cops, and at least delay them enough to get them to fall unconscious.
Yeah, I'm gonna immediately pull up my handgun.
It's going to be 5, so that's going to be 21.
21. Oh ho! You beat it again, and this time you've beaten it with at least 8. So you have 8 cap to throw around. Yep.
I'm going to go all for the damage now. Just
All for the damage. All the damage. Rock me your damage.
There's 1 cap per weapon damage adjustment, so that's going to be 40 damage adjustment.
Woo! So with your strength plus whatever the short sword gets plus 40. Dang.
So, well, no, with
Jeez.
strength, that's all an additional 5, so that's 35.
Jesus Christ.
35. So
God, man.
and not only with its bleed, it's pretty close. It's not gone yet, but it's like down to tatters at this moment.
Like curb stomp it at this point.
Yeah, it doesn't have much fight left in it. So Patrick, I'm going to have you roll me a charm plus social, and I'm assuming you're going to try to talk down as though you're an authority figure to these cops. So I can assume leadership.
Yeah. Can I actually? Because what I want to get these guys to do is go in the building and find the bomb and get these civilians out. So can I try to convince them to leave me and go do their jobs better?
It might be difficult, but go ahead and give a roll.
All right.
It's the ones I've said it is.
Okay, so I just got a 4 and a 4, so I'm at 10.
10. Get on your knees! Get on your knees! Put your hands on your head! Get on your knees! Hands behind your head! And I need you to roll me 2d10.
All right.
And the base is 5.
Okay.
What you have, you're rolling with a 5. Let me know what you add or you subtract from the 5.
Okay, so just roll my over-under.
Yeah, just
right?
roll your over/under.
Well, 3. I'm minus 3.
Minus 3. Okay.
I do what they say anyway.
Well, yes, you start to do what they say. You're also, just so you know, Ben and Nick, you're both going to have to make that same roll too. 2 to 10.
Oh, we're being affected by this, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Now, did
Because you had your Vanguard thing active, since you typed that to me, you get whatever your res as an additional bonus.
And I don't know, I rolled a 19. Do I have any cap from that?
I believe you have some cap from that because the base of that ability is a 5, so you have whatever cap you generated from that.
Okay.
Onto
There's 5
the rest.
minus my... Okay, then I'm gonna max out of it. For every 2 cap I spend,
1 additional res.
okay, I'll roll it. Okay.
Yeah. So you have an absurd bonus right now. You might not be affected by this, but yes, roll your 2d10. It's the base on 5.
Seven.
You don't have a res score right now, so.
So far, everything's gone according to plan.
Yep.
I rolled an 8 and have a resistance of 13.
Okay. You succeed. You're okay.
Yeah.
And you kind of feel like a cloud coming over you, but you kind of brush that off. Ben, what did yours go?
Well, I
Oh,
have
okay,
passive
cool.
aspects. It says that
So-
I have +7 arm.
So you have.
I don't know what that means. And
That's armor.
oh, sweet.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
I want
So-
armor.
Well, in that case, the other one was +5 resistance.
Yep. So you're rolling on a 10.
A 10, sweet. Oh, in that case, it's under 3, unfortunately. So at 7.
You still beat it. So you kind of feel the malaise try to infect you, but you recognize this. You know exactly what it is. You resist it. Patrick, you getting your hands on your head. You're getting there, and you see one of the cops go, "All right, you have the right to remain." He sort of looks at the cuffs for a moment, like he's looking at them for the first time, and you kind of feel like it's like, oh, everything's going great. Everything's going. This floor is nice. This floor is really nice.
So I just lay down and take a nap and ask them, do they not remember the Miranda rights?
You are pretty much in the status like you don't necessarily want to go to sleep, but you're just like, man, this is comfortable. Man, I don't really want to move here. You're just kind of like in a sort of like in a haze, almost like a daydream kind of thing.
Am I like lucid enough to introduce myself to this girl and ask her name?
Nope. You
Nope,
have no interest in that right now. You're more interested in just sitting there right now. You are in a stupor. You're in a stupor. You might ask her name later, if this all gets resolved. But most of the cops seem to be having like a sort of a issue, trying to figure out what exactly they're supposed to be doing here. They seem to be like kind of like, what am I? And some of them are sitting down. Some of them, I mean, there's some fresh waves coming in. It's like, hey, you're supposed to be cuffing him. You're supposed to be cuffing him right now. What are you doing? Okay, we're gonna. And some of them get closer to you, and like one of them actually grabs you, but then suddenly like loses interest. It seems to affect people at a different rate, depending on who it is.
I told Samuel my plan, right? To like
Yes, you
have
did.
this happen and then save everyone.
Supposedly.
What was the plan?
Just have
He's in a
this
band.
happen, get Emily, get out, let the rest do what they want to do.
I don't know who Emily is.
Exactly. You have no idea who Emily is.
Well, we know of her, we don't know what she looks like.
Right.
So at this point, the Shade is trying to book an escape, Ben. So you and I are both going to roll reaction. Okay. And Ben, if you beat it in reaction, you can't it won't be able to escape you, or try to escape you. So what's your reaction
Here's
total?
the problem. It's the worst thing I could have possibly rolled.
Did you roll double ones?
Yes, I choked.
Okay, you choked, so you're taking a -12 penalty. Unfortunately, at that point, it's the sting of your wounds or something like that, or maybe it's just because of the way the shadows work. But it sort of like does that like stop motion of like ripple effect as it kind of just like jerks back away and starts like flying out of the building, out of the window, through the walls, and it's gone. But the haze that seems to have infected these people is still there, and you're like holding your gut at this moment. It might take a little while. So you're in the building, you've driven it off, but you've not necessarily broken the effect. And it might still be out there.
It might help if I wasn't sleeping.
And there's only one person active right now.
Right. Do something useful.
So hearing nothing happen,
Yeah.
strangely, hands in your head, all that shouting, I peek my head out and I see, the apathy having affected everyone, including my companion. Given, there's like how many cops? Like a swarm of them, right?
Yeah, there's a swarm of them. There's like 20 cop cars out there, and let's assume there's like 2 in there. You got a bunch of them, and they're all just kind of sitting there or standing there.
As much as I want to try to shake my companion out of it, I don't know what's going to happen. If that's even going to be successful, and if I am successful, am I gonna snap them all out of it. I don't want to. That's a lot of police officers. I'm going to skirt around. In the brief readout from the holographic image, did it seem like the malaise, the roots and tendrils of darkness and apathy infecting people seemed to be emanating from anywhere, like from the top or from the bottom of the building, or was I able to figure out anything at all?
It was kind of like just a man-made, like a big, like the whole thing kind of was just chilled, frozen. It was hard. They were just kind of snaking around. You're not exactly sure exactly what the source was.
Okay.
There's only one person who knows exactly what the source was.
And right now he chose the very worst time to have like a cramp, so he's just completely out of it right now.
Okay.
Well, you can always just dream back yourself into your body and find that
Be
you've
like
been
half
bleeding.
a mile away.
Yeah.
Right.
But you have,
We have phones?
modern technology, ladies and gentlemen.
Indeed.
So Ben, depends on what you want to do. And what you want to do.
Yeah, totally forgot about that. Yeah, it's if he needs to like wake up and call them and tell them like where the creature was nested, and like tell them that it got away.
Well, you better call him and not me.
Well,
I
he
call
doesn't
you.
know.
I call you.
You feel the vibration as your worldview happens.
So in that case, he'll just like will himself awake, like sort of lurch over for a minute as he does so, because he's probably in like extreme pain right now, because it feels
pain.
like he was in the middle of like this intense fight, and he can't believe he let that creature get away. He might have doomed them all, but he'll answer the phone and be like, "Hello."
I'm
Right
here.
here.
I'm here at the medical building. Everyone's been
That's right.
affected. I'm the only one. Where's this coming from?
The creature, the source of it, it's got away. I wasn't able to break its hold on the place.
Shit.
But you've got to find where the bomb is. I know where the creature was nesting. I don't know if
Where?
it'll be there, but it's your best bet.
Tell me.
And then he'll
I'm moving
basically
now.
describe what floor it was at when
Okay.
he was attacked by the thing.
Nothing about your sister or what she looks like? Nothing?
Well, first
Okay.
of all, he's more like there's no if she's not gonna move, like there's no way he'd be able to like get her out of there right now.
No,
If you wanna
definitely
find the
not.
bomb, then. Oh yeah.
Okay, so I'll head to wherever it is you direct me to go to.
So is the bomb there?
I'll if you want me to roll a
If
We're not
only
sure.
someone who had search was there.
Perception and manual and search. Let's
Here's
see
a
what you
question.
Mhm.
Can I use is one of the computer terms, so like I said this is an HR office. In an HR office there's of course the HR director's personal computer, but there's also terminals for like new employees to fill out their hiree questionnaires and whatever.
I'm sure there's a computer at like this front desk where I am that has
Right.
everyone's station.
I'm not getting in front of 20 cops, even if they look apathetic. They might pick up
Understood.
at any minute.
I get that.
I'm going to, if any of these computers is on or not locked, maybe even the HR person. So there's a bomb scare. She might have just left and ran away. Could I use computers to try and find, is there something? Okay, this is on the 8th floor. Okay, what's on the 8th? What's on the 8th floor? Okay, it's North American claims, radiology, and cardiovascular department, or something.
Yes, you did tell him where the monster was, Ben. The question is whether the monster was where the bomb was. That's a good question.
Okay, I'll just go up.
Yeah.
And
Go
we'll
ahead and do your computer. I want to see what you get. You might be able to find something. It's like
Okay.
there's like a half deleted message or something along those lines. Like
And that's intelligence, I would imagine, right?
intelligence plus computers plus hacking would probably be the case because you're trying to get into certain things.
Okay. I'm a fast typer.
You are.
Alas, I don't have hacking, but I'll just use my computers.
Yeah, it might be enough.
Okay.
So what's your total?
18.
18? Okay, you generated 3 cap. So you can, for every 1 cap, you can reduce the search time by...
I'll spend them all.
Okay, by a minute. But I was going to say, you could also spend 3 to get more information. So it's up to you, depending on whether you want it in the interest of time, or...
No, then I'll use it to get the deeper knowledge, as these people seem like... apparently they've been, malaised for some time already, and if there's a bomb here, I'd probably hide the bomb. So I'll try to get the more detailed knowledge.
I'm going to have you make me 1 more resistance roll.
Okay.
You still obviously got your bonuses and stuff, but...
Okay. 16, 14.
14. You're still fighting it off. It's still infecting people, even though the monster is probably not in the building. It seems that whatever manifestations it's set off still has a lingering effect. But you manage to go there. It takes you about 15 minutes, but you manage to find something. Like, you find a few messages that definitely confirm when you're cross-examination, like half-filled messages and stuff. The bomb is actually actually in the basement area. It's like nearby the foundations of the basement. There's one in particular though that tells you exactly where it is, because hey, it was like it managed to get completed, but it only got sent to 1 person. So you know exactly where the bomb is.
Okay.
Was this like a weird inside terrorist job or something?
Might be.
How'd we find this information?
It could just be like somebody discovered where it is, and by the time they got up to like the floor where they could message anyone, they're just like, "Oh, whatever. I'm sure it's nothing to worry about."
It's all good. Hey, Bill, did you notice that there's a bomb there? The slow stop is. This is the last bit of interesting thing that I haven't to say to Bob over here. And now I'm just going to go back to staring at my nails.
Yeah.
I'm going to call the police, whatever. Bill, some funniest thing, really. There's a bomb in the basement floor. Yeah, I know, right?
It's like just talking around the water cooler.
Awesome. I'm going to rush down to the basement. I'm going to...
And Brian's like coming over during this entire time, right?
Right.
This is when he like calls the cab and like goes there, and like he's still got the phone on. He's like, "Were you able to find anything? Was it where the monster was? Has anyone been able to wake up yet?"
Are you calling me?
I believe I let that thing get away. Yeah.
I'm on my way. I found out where it is.
Oh, thank God. Oh, if you see my sister, like, see if she's all right.
I don't know what she looks like. I gotta go.
Okay, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just I'll call Bill.
Okay. I rush down to the basement or the sub-basement, or I probably don't get reception anyway. And I go to where exactly this communique has directed me to.
Yep, and there it is. It's like attached to one of the foundational pillars. You yourself are not a bomb expert, so you're not exactly sure how much has been put into this bomb. But you're having this feeling that if they put it in this specific spot, there has to be enough explosive force to try to start a tremor effect so that the building will begin to collapse in on itself.
So what does this bomb look like? Are there prevalent electronic components?
I don't think you would know anyway.
Definitely there's a timer on it and wires and what looks to be a lot of explosives attached to it, like in those like C4 bags. You're not sure.
Alright, just putting this out there, this building has a ton of cops in it. And that's a bomb.
Not to mention cops. There's civilians all the way through the top floor.
So there's probably some like outer casing of like the display, like the timer display where like the circuitry is and the wires are. I pop that off. And I look at the circuitry and where the wires go. May I roll computers, electronic devices to try and disable this?
Yes. It may be tricky, but go for it.
Okay. What does the countdown say?
2 hours and
Oh, gee, that's plenty of
13
time.
minutes.
Okay. I'm gonna go for it.
Just don't blow us up.
I cannot give you that assurance.
Well, you blew two of us up.
Are we ready? Are you
Yeah.
ready for this?
Ready? Let's do this. Let's see if we can
Double
do
ones.
this. Well, you're still taking a penalty.
Yeah.
Ah,
Okay.
Let's see how you do.
at least Brian will live.
16.
16.
Please don't have the last thing in this scene be me getting there and the building collapsing on itself. That would just suck so much.
I
And that's
still need
how
to
I-
have an affair with this floor.
Yes.
You cut one of the wires, or you jumble something. You move a wire you're not supposed to, and you realize that too late as you move it out, and the numbers jumble. 59 minutes.
I can deal with that.
Well.
Again, ton of cops in this
unfortunate.
building.
Okay, I'm gonna go back up there. Are there any bomb squad police officers? Clearly not the crowd of beat cops that are swarming this front desk, but other bomb squad folks.
Well, if they are, they don't know where the bomb is. You'd have to go searching for them. But you did see like a few vehicles that look like, yeah, this is the bomb squad because someone managed to get the word out that there's a bomb.
Okay, I'm gonna try against my fears. I'm gonna try and jostle my companion to see if I can. Can I
Wake
snap
me
you
up.
out of it?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll me your 2d10 against 5.
Me or
Him.
Patrick? Okay.
Patrick.
Okay, cool. Alright, so that's a -5.
It's like talking to a rock.
Ah, it sucks. This is going well.
But then I rush out to wherever you said there were some. Oh, there were like bomb squad cars parked outside, but if there are bomb squad officers, they're in the building somewhere.
Yeah,
Well,
they're in
again,
the
you're
building
at the
somewhere.
front desk. There's probably like a giant speaker system
Yeah,
you can use.
that's exactly what I was gonna. So I push the the office the office chair with Emily that I don't know just away, and she's off in her own world.
Yeah.
And I if there's an intercom or something for all the speakers to
Yes.
so I put it out there that the bomb is in the basement in this location. If come immediately. I'm guessing that nobody comes because they're probably apathetic. But I put it out there, and does anybody arrive?
I'm going to have you do. I'm going to have
Okay.
charm plus social, and if you have leadership, add it because you're trying to pierce through their malaise.
What
Oh, God.
what plus social? Charmed social?
Charm, social.
Okay. This is not my
And
forte.
leadership?
Oh, it sucks that I'm not awake. Or active.
10.
That's great.
A few people begin to sort of stir. There's sort of a look for a moment. You actually, there's actually someone who starts coming down the stairs, and he's in the Bob Squad thing. He looks like he's in a haze, kind of like he's desperately trying to fight it off, and he barely gets into the lobby before he kind of sits down.
I'm going to take my phone out, put it onto Spotify, switch it over to some Iron Maiden, and I'm going to leave the intercom on. That'll perhaps wake some people up. Just loud, metal music, possibly.
Patrick, go ahead and roll. And it's let's just say you have an 8 now to roll against. So.
Oh,
and I'll
great.
go over to the bomb squad man.
Also, mind you, I'd love for this right now, Brian to be running up and all of a sudden start hearing like this death metal coming from us.
Yeah, it's at this point you finally get there. There is blocked traffic, two blocks away from the building. There's blocked traffic because there's so many freaking cop cars. There's people standing outside, trying to comment on what the heck are all the cops doing. It's what is there a convention or something that we didn't hear about and stuff like that. They're obviously in this rationalization. You have an 8, so whatever your over/under is against an 8.
Just no additions or anything?
It's
you add an 8 to your over/under.
Oh, all right. So 6 plus 8. It's
okay. It's the first scream of
Sure, why not?
We come from the land of the ice and snow.
Is for just a second before it turns into a montage of him running up and.
Is there a concert? Is Iron Maiden playing over there? A number of people actually start crossing the street because they think Iron Maiden's playing over in the convention center.
It's Brian's now gonna look like no, stay away.
No, there's a bomb!
It's Iron Maiden, man! And unfortunately, they too fall into under the malaise, but they're ready to rock. But a few people start getting up. Your bot squad member is one of them. And he's like, what? Bomb downstairs, right?
Downstairs.
He rushes down there and he starts going. I got this. You get your whoever you can out of this building. Just get them out of this building. I got this. And he's got renewed focus as the immigrant song is just playing full blast on the speaker. Patrick, you wake up and you've got the you got the ringings of those of that in your head, and you see the bomb squad guy run past you as you're rubbing your eyes and waking up and realizing that you've been on that floor for
an Iron Maiden and Led Zeppelin.
For over 15 minutes just sitting there.
So I just go to Samuel and I say, "Good job, great plan." Did we find Emily?
I don't know.
Right now, runs in and
right.
sort of sees that the desk is empty and runs around and sees her just sort of laying
Desk
there,
is not empty.
Or something.
The desk is quite covered by 20 police officers.
The desk is also where we currently are.
The desk is surrounded.
Alright, so, are these cop guys waking up? Can I, tell them to start evacuating civilians at this time?
Some of them are starting, but they seem to have, a haze over them. Only, really 1 or 2 people seem to be, getting...
Let's just get out of here.
Yeah, at this point...
Can I yell at them as we leave, to start doing something?
Yeah, you go ahead and make me a leadership. Charm of the leadership. See if you can help add to the broken relay. Some people might actually be able to do it. It's not guaranteed it's going to completely work, but at the very least, as far as you're certain, the bomb's going to be taken care of.
So mean. 15.
A few of them managed to snap out of it and realize there's bomb starts registering. It's okay, we got to evacuate these people. They start going. They're kind of ignoring their fellow stupefied officers. For the most part, which is a little odd. And
none of them care about me, right?
Not at the moment. They seem to be rejuvenated by the power of metal. So.
Good job, metal.
And you guys get out. You cross the street and you.
Marquise just got Emily over his shoulders, just like.
Oh, that's Emily.
Yeah.
I pick up my bike
This is
as we
Emily.
leave.
You've got she's over there. She's like, Brian, put me down. Brian, what's going on? What's the meaning of this? Look, Brian, put me down. Brian. So she's kind of like bomb. What do you mean bomb?
Steps to the greatest montage ever.
And then the building explodes and we have failed.
Oh, I hope not.
Nope, actually there's
fail if that's the image that we end on.
Nope. Anyway, you guys managed to get out there. You managed to get a safe distance away. You kind of are sighing in relief at this moment. She's like, okay, Brian, what do you mean bomb? What, you came all the way across Chicago just to get me out of work because, oh God, she kind of recognizes the cop cars out in front now. She's actually beginning to register, like the world's coming back to pieces. Like,
calm down.
Oh my God, Kelly's in there. Oh, everyone I work with's in there.
Breathe.
They need my help.
There was a chemical attack. No, it's the police are in there. They're going to get everyone out. The best thing we can do is stay out of their way. It's all right. Iron Maiden will save the day.
And Led Zeppelin.
I don't.
And Led Zeppelin.
Wait, there's a Led Zeppelin concert going on? I don't understand. You're not making any sense, Brian. I'm sorry. I have a really bad headache. I need to sit down. And it doesn't seem like malaise. It just seems like she does actually have like a legitimate headache. It might be the doubt trying to rationalize in her head. She has many pockets of her memory. She's not exactly sure what was going on those last few hours.
I don't think Led Zeppelin has played in 35 years.
Yeah, like they're still touring? People need a minute.
So, as you guys are standing there on the sidewalk, you're actually out front of a television shop with televisions on streaming game. Some of them streaming the news of mall riots have been contained. Mall riots have been contained. It seems that it was a case of malaria that caused
malaria in Chicago.
You clearly know nothing about malaria.
Well, I know for a fact it's not malaria, but they're coming up. But it's Fox News. They don't know what they're talking about.
Of course.
And
it's a new strain of Ebola that affects liberals.
And other news, is Led Zeppelin touring at the Einstein Institute?
There's nothing about like a freak motorcycle chase or anything, right? Nope, they forgot about that.
Well, it seems like there is actually one or two news channels that are covering like a motorcycle chase that seems to have gone away. Investigation still pending. Potential bomb threat. Conflicting news stories are popping up all over the place.
All right, sweet.
But then the TVs start to change.
Oh, I don't like this Twilight reference.
And the TVs start changing, and a familiar face appears on the screen.
Is it Bill?
Right.
It's not Bill, is it?
Yeah.
You.
3 miles outside the city, there is a cabin. A cabin where a fateful meeting will take place. You'll know it when you see it. It's at the crossroads between between reality and subconscious. You'll see it there at the Twilight Zone.
All right, so I think we're going to have to go and deal with that premonition. Or we could not. We could always just not go.
No. I have to go, at least.
Well, you're not going alone.
Let's let Bill know. We know
All
where
right.
we have to go now. Where this all is leading.
Okay, so who's calling Bill?
I will.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll call Bill again.
All right, I got a missed call from. Okay, are you guys together, or did you all decide to just call me at the same time? Because I'm really not in the mood for jokes right now, because there's more bombs popping up. I mean, there's one at the Einstein, the one in the Einstein Institute. Okay.
Taken care of.
So is that your fault with the Iron Maiden stuff?
Yes.
Just for times.
It was the only thing that could be done.
Everyone
And was that your motorcycle tearing through the streets of Chicago?
No.
We're gonna have a talk later.
We know
Anyway,
where to
There's
go.
a place we gotta go first. The Nemesis appeared before Samuel.
There's a cabin.
It's chosen the battleground.
There's a cabin
All right.
3 miles out of the city.
We're still dealing with the majority of the bomb situations. There's still other manifestations that are coming up. Some of them seem to be targeting other anima on the team in other places. You need to deal with this now, because it's becoming more than just bombs. People are starting to succumb to either madness or worse.
I understand.
Good luck.
All right, done.
All right.
So speed away on the motorcycle again?
Don't you have a car? No, but
Bill?
yeah.
No, he's been taking
Right.
tax. Or well,
Oh, so you
Ryan.
keep taking a cab.
It's
Yeah.
like traffic, man. I mean, it made a lot more sense earlier, but hey, I didn't know that we'd be needing to go to the city multiple places. Don't worry, you guys just go ahead. I'll catch a cab.
No, let's all take the cab together and discuss what's going on. And what cars
I
we are
don't
buying
think-
you guys after this, because you need cars.
I don't think the cabbie would appreciate that, but I do like the idea. We should all go together.
Alright, so cab.
Cab it is.
I'll just give him. There's a diner that's like 3 miles north of northwest of Chicago. There's nothing else out there except for things that are around this diner. If there is a cabin, it's got to be like within walking distance of this place. So we'll give him that destination for us to drop us off there. Apparently we'll know it when we see it. So once we get dropped off, I'm sure we'll see it from that destination.
And can I text my wife to pick up my bike?
Oh, I'm pretty sure
Sure,
you're
go
going
ahead.
to text
You
your
can
wife a lot more than that after this night's done.
I think my bike's gonna get impounded if I leave it near all these cops.
Sure, you can go ahead and leave her a text about that.
Alright, sweet. So, does this cabbie get suspicious of our strange direction, or?
No, I mean,
diner.
hey, it's a diner. Yeah, sure. I mean, I could drive you all the way to the freaking cabin. I mean, whatever. I mean, driving outside. I've driven outside Chicago before. It's not a big deal. So basically, I mean, as far as it is, it's like he's not really worried about that. I mean, he's a cab driver. He drives people places. Now, the thing he might be a little worried about is okay, if I'm traveling you to another city or something, it would cost more, but you're not. So You're just going outside the borders of it. And you reach the diner, you pay him his money, that's all he really cares about. All right, see ya. And drives off.
Alright. Where to from here?
Well, you actually see it. Like half-mile down the road, a lone cabin.
Convenient. Can I, summon my drone and send that there? Because I don't want to go in unapproached.
No, not in the waking world.
Well, he could if he manifested himself in his animus state.
Ooh. Okay.
So can I do that in a back alley so people don't see me as a cyborg?
No one will see you as a cyborg. They'll see you as someone with a drone and a remote control. Because the waking world makes it so that they don't see you as your actual animus self.
Sweet. Does that take conviction?
Yes. That
How
takes
much?
15 because you're manifesting it in the waking world.
Alright. So I summon my drone and I go and send it out to scope out this creepy farmhouse.
This cabin, as you're flying around, it's odd. I mean, The windows are clear, but at the same time, you're not really able to see like much inside it. Like there's no one moving inside through the windows. If he's in there, he's in a position you're not able to see through the windows with the quadcopter.
Good strategy. Alright, but there's no, like, there's no strategic, like, places that we can sneak up to. Is there, like, a back door, or is it 2 stories high?
It's not 2 stories high. There's no back door. Oddly enough, for some odd reason, the only entranceway is either through the only 2 front windows and the front door.
Alright, so there's only 2 windows as well.
Mm-hmm. And they're both, like, facing outward.
Alright, so I think...
It's a weirdly designed house. Like, this isn't a house that would be designed this way.
No, this is a house straight from the Twilight Zone, I'm very certain. Oh, come on, you know it has to be.
Yeah, it totally has.
Oh, the colors in the house did look rather muted.
There's no cornfields or anything, right?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
So, we all see this house. How do you guys want to approach it?
I seem like, at this point, reserved to meet this whatever head on. Before the inevitable happens.
Walking through the front door.
I mean, there's little, like, choice we have at this point. Like, if the drone wasn't able to see anything, it might just have control over the environment whether we like it to or not.
I think we should all be in our animus before going in there. And bring this fight to our world, since we probably have more power here.
Well, I do have one question. How long does the animus form last?
It lasts for an hour.
Think this fight will be longer than an hour?
I hope not, but I'll manifest.
Alright, so, what are you doing, Samuel?
I think that's actually quite thematic. So as we walk down this empty road, I'm imagine is it like falling to dusk, like becoming twilight, as we do. Samuel, gritting his teeth, you look. I'm walking. In between the both of you. You look to your side. You see me, trying to swallow whatever fear, frustration, rage, that's going on, boiling beneath the surface. You look back and look ahead at this strange road, and you look back, and like my gait has changed. It's almost you hear the footsteps on the asphalt as if I'm wearing different shoes, and you look back again. I'm in this shabby suit, and you blink your eyes, and there's the visage and form of my animus, this stranger, this strange everyman, with some small glimmer of determination beneath his bespectacled gaze, ready to meet whatever destiny has in store. Fitting to meet the narrator in the form of the main character.
Okay. So you get up to the front door, all of you, in your manifestations of the Animus, and something that your drone didn't pick up originally when you got there, but there is a rocking chair rocking back and forth very slowly right there, and sitting on the rocking chair is the doll.
Of course it's the doll.
And in its hands it holds a key.
Whoa, that's fun.
And this time it turns its head, and it does this in front of all of you now, but it's looking directly at Samuel. Welcome home.
Were you born here?
No.
Well, then that is creepy.
But do I recognize this cabin from any of the episodes?
It's not really. I mean, it's kind of like it kind of all blurs together. It's like every cabin that was ever in the Twilight Zone, kind of like jumbled together.
It's the Nexus.
Oh, great.
You said this doll is just an echo of the creature, right?
Yes.
Echo growing stronger.
Can we not just burn this entire thing down?
I take the key. I assume that the doll will like give it to me.
Yeah, it's not actually like gripping it. It's just kind of like got it in its hands. It's not like grabbing hold of it and stuff. But yeah, you pick up the key.
And I go to like put it into the lock.
All right, well, I grab your wrist before you do that and ask
and
again,
I think,
can we not just burn this place down?
I don't
If it
think
were
so.
that easy.
It's not
All right,
If it
then.
were that easy.
But as you say that, like something clicks, and I think back to the narrator's words of this ex-beat cop, but having having found the key or thinking they found the key for something unknown if this this is all coming together. But I give the key to you. Maybe you're the one who needs to open the door. We all here at this together at this place at this time. It seems we all have a role to play in the show.
If you two are ready for this, I will unlock the door. And I'm like prepared and resigned to what's behind this.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, then I unlock the door.
Where Father Brian would be to just get his short sword in one hand, but also sort of take off his medallion. He'll just sort of look at it and sort of slip it into Samuel's hand, but so that the doll is not actually seeing it, and he will say, "Let's end this, shall we?"
And the door swings open slowly, and you almost see like the door almost like rotates. Like as the door starts to open and swing inward, the door actually like rotates upside down. And you can actually see like for a moment like a haze of stars behind it. And this small spiral in the distance as it begins to fade away, and you begin to see the form of the narrator slowly coming to vision. And you've unlocked that door with the key to imagination. You've come to this place as asked, as destined, for this final confrontation in the Twilight Zone.
So now he's just standing in front of us.
He's standing in front of you.
So are we all, as we turn around and we cross the threshold, or are we all in this sort of like space in between the dimensions with clocks and broken glass and?
Yep, there's all sorts of weird things in here, props and things from the show that you recognize. And the doll is actually sitting in the rocking chair again, and this time in another area of the house. Seems appropriate. She'd be there. She wouldn't just be sitting outside there. But she doesn't move. She doesn't do much of anything. You got broken clocks. You see a trash bin, and if you're 90% sure if you were to peek in there, you'd see some small like lead figure statues inside them. You know these things. You know them intimately well. You lived through every single one of these things. And there he is, just standing there, smiling at you in that way. But when you look out the windows, you see yourselves rows and rows and rows of corn.
Great!
You think you're the master here, but I know your tricks just as much as you. I can use that against you, and I will. And I guess we'll roll reaction, or I can do something right now. Your call.
Everyone, I think, is prepared for a fight. Everyone knows what's going on here, so it's reaction from everyone.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Well, it looks like my luck in every other tabletop RPG has traveled into here because I choked again.
I did not.
What was your reaction?
I got a 9.
You got a 9 total?
Yeah.
And you choked, so you're definitely going last, Ben. What did you get, Nick?
And some.
Nick, what was your reaction?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. 7.
7. Okay. The narrator is going first.
Ah, damn you.
It's appropriate. He always does.
Mm-hmm. It is indeed. And he begins to talk.
Nice.
But there's something more to the voice. There's something more to the words that he's saying than what it is. I'm not going to bother trying to say exactly what he's saying,
Mm-hmm.
but he's speaking in that narration voice as though he's introducing a Twilight Zone episode, another one. But other than that, he's just standing there. But he seems to be focusing very intently on Brian.
Oh, geez, Brian, no.
Whatever he's talking about, it's very focused on him. But it is your go, Patrick.
Alright, so I'm going to just set up my turret and then have it fire at him.
Okay.
So, do I roll an over-under for the firearms damage or no?
You do roll over-under.
Alright.
And since the turret is it
Cool.
has its own base, it has a 15 firearms thing, so you're rolling that over-under on the 15.
So, I rolled a 6 positive, so 21 firearms.
Cool. Unfortunately, when it fires, it doesn't move at all.
Great.
And the vase behind him breaks.
So physical attacks probably out.
And I believe it's Nicholas's turn.
Okay. So, Dreamweaver, I'm gonna need your input on this. I have some, I think some thematic ideas, but I don't know if it entirely flies with. So, I have the passive aspect Mimic, which at this rank allows me to copy Magic 1.
Mm-hmm.
Copy Magic 1. I know there are certain magic techniques which I think normally have to be cast in my presence, and then I can mimic them. Given that speech I've just done, would it be possible to give some minor to moderate thematic? I've watched every single one of these episodes 1,000 times over. So use the magic of the Twilight Zone, against the narrator, using this the passive aspects of the mimic.
Considering the situation, and this is a one-shot, and the nature of things, I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
It is going to cost you conviction, though.
Okay, this is the time to be convinced. And
it's going to cost you 5 conviction each time you attempt something like this, in this manner.
Okay, and let me know if it's too powerful.
Yeah.
So he's still in the middle of narrating?
Yeah, he's still in the middle of narrating.
Okay, so he has not concluded his narration. So we're in this cabin. So I'll spend 5 conviction, and I begin to narrate myself. I speak of using his own words against him, the words I've memorized, these monologues which he's given. I've heard them 1,000 times over through the television, and then 1,000 more times in my nightmares used against me, reliving these twisted and disturbing scenes and encounters. I speak of an old cabin isolated in the desert, and of a strange intruder in the night. And you hear this sort of like almost it will be a comical sound if not for the gravity of the situation, of a whirring, almost like a children's toy, some like warbling noise, some you can't place it. And you see a tiny 6-inch tall figure emerge from underneath a pile of garments and old furniture, and it fires this sort of scorching, it makes this sort of scorching electricity noise, firing some kind of ray gun at the narrator. No bolts are seen, but if anyone has seen The Twilight Zone, you might get the reference.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that does. You can tell me.
Well, the narrator is still narrating, and then the shocking jab comes up, and there's all of a sudden there seems to be like a sort of ripple that kind of seems to warp around his frame for a moment, and he seems to be sort of like stumbled. Despite his like normally like stiff posture, perfect demeanor and canter, he sort of takes a slight step back, as though a little startled, as though something he wasn't expecting just happened. His concentration's thrown slightly off, though he does keep continuing his narration. So Ben, is your turn.
All right. Well, I botched. What exactly is the narrator doing right now? Because whatever it is, it's working to just get Brian all like muddled.
You feel like your vision is starting to tunnel. It's not like the effect has taken full effect yet, but you feel your vision is starting to tunnel, and all your focus is on the narrator. Like your friends are starting to sort of fade away, the location and everything. The hallway seems to almost be slightly stretching. Whatever it is he's doing, it's not fully affected you yet, but it's just beginning.
All right. Well, in that case, he doesn't have much time. He already entrusted his amulet of the old gods to Simon, so he's only got one weapon left at his disposal right now, next to his uncanny perception, and he doubts that's going to be effective in the Twilight Zone. So he will just charge the individual using that swiftness that he's known for, hoping that perhaps if he can get a strike in against him, stop him from finishing the narration, that perhaps the effect won't take. But as the weapon shot earlier proved, perhaps that will prove little of use. But he must try something, and he will. So I'd like to roll a agility plus weaponry.
And what did you get?
It's going to be under 1, so that's going to be 16.
16. Sadly, despite the ripple effect that seems to happen, it seems to like when you swing, it's like he's there. You had the perfect shot, but it's like he's moved like 3 inches back away from the blade. Like you misjudged it. And yet, well, no, that's how it's always been. No, he was right there. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe I misjudged the swing.
Yeah, it's a total miss. He begins to sort of second guess himself, but continues to just try swinging, and each time it's just like, just a second off. No, he wasn't there. He was just a little bit more back.
Yeah.
Brian takes another step forward, swings again. Nope. You didn't take a close step enough. Did you take a step at all? Have you moved since at all? Are you standing right next to your friend?
Mm-hmm.
It's all jumbled right now.
You're beginning. Your spatial awareness hasn't fully gone yet, but it is the beginning. You are beginning to doubt where your dimensions are, whether space is closed or far. The narrator keeps talking, and the effect starts becoming more pronounced. Dimension is warping. Time is becoming to seem a bit different, difficult to see, difficult to say. Patrick, go again.
Alright, so It's clear he's messing with dimensions. Physical attacks won't work on him. Can I try shooting that doll in the corner?
You're more than welcome to shoot
Still
the
there?
doll.
All right.
Yep, she's still there.
17 for handguns. Oh no, I'm
You-
sorry. 37.
You blow the doll away. Like, it just completely shatters into pieces.
All right.
Which actually does cause an effect. Like, he kind of jerks a little back, and there's that ripple effect again that seemed to go over his shape and being. And he seems a little confused as to this, but he tries to keep that demeanor, but there's something off. Like, his eyes take a sort of darker sort of turn to them, and his teeth, the small crook of his teeth suddenly seems to grow a little bit sharper as he keeps narrating. Nick, go.
Okay.
Just saying, he might be attached to the room itself.
Right. So, again, I start to narrate a different episode.
All right.
What is it? Yeah. 5 characters in search of an exit. 5 characters left in prison for too long. 5 characters angry at their captor. I throw down the garbage bin, causing these looks like again toys, a ballet dancer, a clown, a hobo, a Scotsman, some sort of army major, fall out onto the floor, and I'll let the Dreamweaver take it away. I'm sure you understand.
Sorry, repeat what exactly you did. Just what you had them doing. They come out of the
I tipped the garbage can over so that the captives may be free to perhaps assail the narrator for crafting a story, an entire episode for them being imprisoned inside this place. These living children's toys, abandoned, forgotten.
Gotcha. And the toys do move in a jerky motion towards the narrator, and they're at his ankles, and they're beating against this barrier that's continuing to ripple a bit more, and it's just and he's seeming to be getting more and more annoyed as he keeps trying to keep but he keeps focusing on the narration. He keeps focusing on it. But it's very clear that he's having issues trying to concentrate on everything that seems to be going on.
Okay.
Ben, you haven't fully succumbed to this. You are not quite yet lost to the space of dimensions yet. You have a chance to break out of this, man.
Seeing that Peter's attack against the doll actually caused some sort of minor change, he'll frantically look around the room for other, sources of the individual's power, perhaps other props from the show, other, things associated that he's done. He's actually going to look around and see if he can find any TVs anywhere.
There is definitely there is a television, actually.
All right. He's going to then head towards it, and then he's just going to try stabbing it straight through, since the narrator used that in order to communicate with the animus earlier. Let's give it a shot.
Yep.
Oh, significantly better this time. That's over 9, under 5. So that's going to be 21 to the attack.
You cleave right through the television as it sparks and pops, and rabbit ear antennas go a little bit haywire. It tries to flicker and glow, but it dies out. And there's in the ripples that are going around the narrator, there's a crack that seems to almost appear right there, like a large crack right through it. But his eyes are on you, and he's still talking. And it's at that moment when that happens, as that crack goes through, that as he keeps talking, finally, you begin to realize you have no concept of dimension and direction and space. You begin to realize that you can't judge distance at all anymore. You're not sure if he's close or if he's far away. You're not sure, is your hand short or long? Is that sword just a knife, or is it like a baton? You're actually like you have no balance anymore. You're losing motor function because your own perception of reality has become stretched and warped like taffy.
Oh yeah, in that case, he's probably going to just sort of sputter and fall to the ground, and then just unable to process what he's seeing, he's just going to just and just start going nuts at that point.
Okay. Patrick, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to run over to Brian and see what's up with him, and try to get him to calm down if I can do that without being attacked.
Well, the narrator's not doing anything other than just standing there, and Brian's freaking out. You have. This is going to be to determine what's wrong with them. You need to roll intelligence plus academics plus psychology.
Okay. Do not have psychology. Can I still just roll?
Yep, you can still roll, but that's a intelligence plus academics.
All right. Oh, that's great. 12 flat.
He is having. You've seen this happen in the force when cops get too much stress put on them, whether they've accidentally killed someone in the line of duty. They'll often have a small mental break from time to time, a nervous breakdown, and it's very clear that he's having the motherload of nervous breakdowns right now.
Can I simply knock him out?
If you want to do that,
over the head.
you can go ahead and do that if you want.
All right, do I have to roll for it?
That's a good idea. Oh dear.
Oh, that is a good idea now that I think about it. Let's not do that.
Yeah.
Alright, can I just, try to talk to him to get him to calm down in, a social kind of way?
It's going to be a little difficult, considering he's freaking out, but you can go ahead and it's going to be charm plus social, and I'll give you your leadership on this one because you're trying to assert yourself, trying to bring him back out of himself. It's going to be difficult, just so you know, but we'll see if you can make it.
A 7 does not make it, does it?
No, it does not.
It does not.
If anything, well, it's not making it worse, but it's definitely not helping.
Okay, cool.
Unfortunately, that's the end of your turn, and now it's on to Nicholas.
I tell Samuel to do something.
It's my glare towards the narrator. I flick my eyes to my companions having some sort of breakdown of reality, before me. Consider Mr. Henry Corwin, normally unemployed, but this night, in this place, will be the bearer of a unique legacy, a unique American institution, a joy and comfort to all. And you possibly hear the sound of sleigh bells and the sound of a jolly man laughing, an elderly man down on his luck, unemployed and homeless, but who offers joy and gifts and all that he has to the poverty-stricken children and members of Chicago. And this possibly helps you out if you would like me to roll anything or him to roll anything.
Sounds very comforting.
Yeah, I don't think you need to roll anything.
Sound very comforting.
It does sound very comforting. Here's only one thing I want to ask. How's your conviction looking? Remember, each time you're doing this, it's 5 conviction. And
I'm at 45.
You're at 45? Okay, I'm just making sure.
Yep.
So, indeed, the sound of sleigh bells breaks through the sound of dimensions, and you're brought back to the sound of childhood. Brian, the wonder of Santa Claus, the wonder of being at the Christmas tree, the magic, the belief. You remember why you're fighting here. This is not a battle just between. This is not just a battle of shadows and shades. This is a battle for hope, for dreams, because these things matter. We're told often that Santa Claus isn't real, but here, on the edge of this place, who's to say he isn't? I think right now, in this moment, you begin to realize that Santa Claus has always been real. It's just unfortunate, but it's this world, this doubtful world, that's shunted him away. But you know, and that renews you. That renews you to not only stand up, but you regain 20 conviction.
Oh,
That's amazing.
And it's your go.
Oh, yeah.
Your real vigor.
It's game time when he just stands up with this like incredibly determined face, and he just looks at Peter and says, "Let's cut the puppet master's strings." And he'll just pull out his sword and look for the nearest prop-looking thing from the show, and we'll just attack it.
There's actually there's 2 ventriloquist dummies over there, actually.
Oh, he's going for both of them.
All right, go for the swing.
Fortunately, this is going to be a -6 this time, but that's going to be 11.
You don't get both of them, but you get one of them, and another crack appears across the barrier that seems to be protecting the narrator as he turns his view. He gives this horrifically spiteful look over at you, Samuel, and then he begins to talk. A portrait of a broken record, one that can't say anything except that which has been said before. Without an original thought in his own mind, but that of that which he has seen and heard countless times. And this is where you start feeling the pressure of mental and warpingness begins to happen. It's not going to happen right yet. It's very clear how long this takes. He has to go through a full narration. But but you can already feel the pressure is starting to turn on you. He's definitely unhappy with you. And those eyes are becoming almost like the whites of his eyes. His teeth are becoming gnarled and fanged. Patrick, it's your go.
Alright, so I still have my turret and my gun. So
Yes.
Can I shoot both of them at different things?
Yes.
Alright, I'm going to shoot at that doll that Brian missed, and have my turret just randomly aim at any object it can.
Okay.
So, for me, it's a 33, and for my turret, it is a 13.
The doll is blown away the ventriloquist dummy is blown away into pieces. Another crack appears across the barrier, and the turret fires at a old antique piano leg, in which it collapses and breaks, and the music record starts it's one of those old automatic playing pianos, and it starts ripping out a tune for a brief moment before it finally dies away. And at that moment, as the music starts up, the barrier almost starts to heal itself, and then as the music dies, it just breaks and shatters. And the narrator stumbles back, and he's lost complete concentration of the narration. He's got his hand on his head, he's holding his head, and the toys that have been beating at the bottom of it are grabbing his legs, and they're pulling at him, trying to pull him down. He's definitely very distracted right now. And Nick.
Yep. At this point, it would be cool. Brian will just sort of say, "Simon, now's your chance. Slay the demon."
Even though his name's not Simon.
Oh crap!
Samuel.
Samuel, damn it!
Samuel Simons.
Samuel Simon.
And as the narrator, begins his cutting narration to me, as he's, again, he's clearly frustrated, but maintaining that composure, and I get right up in his face. He's taller than me. He's well dressed, dapper, always, just so, even in this space in between dimensions. But I, look right into his black and white eyes. In a future where hope is the law of the land, where imagination roams free, unhindered, unencumbered, through the hearts of every man, woman, and child, hear the words of an obsolete man, a man who believes in no God, in no hope, in no magic, stifled and stymied, atrophied by fear, by doubt, and an unwillingness and an inability to take any action but to criticize and consume. Let the people judge this man and his words. Let him be known that he is judged obsolete. And you hear the sort of roaring chants of a courtroom, of a courtroom scene of the people of this great utopian future that we all strive for, and they keep shouting and jeering against that fear and that hatred and that doubt, which keeps us isolated, keeps us alone, and keeps us from achieving our true potential. And you hear obsolete, 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 and it just crescendos.
And it's the barrier gone, the crescendo bellowing down. He begins to fade. Everything begins to fade. Him, the house, everything begins to fade away as he looks at you, and those eyes are just full of hate, full of venom in their eyes, because once again you beat him. Once again you banished him. Once again hope and dreams won. And you stand now in the middle of an empty side of the road. You've won. Patrick, your phone starts buzzing.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pick up my phone and cheer everyone on, slaps on the back, say good job.
It's Director Billings.
Sir, I think we just dealt with every problem we had.
Yeah, we found the last of the bombs. You did good work today. I think, report back. You know what? Actually, give me your debriefs next week. You deserve a vacation.
So, no talk about the motorbike?
Yeah, you look, and there's a text message. But as you're going to read that text message, as you all are breathing that sigh of relief, that knowledge that you have accomplished all these things, the camera starts to pan upwards towards a bright, clear sky. And we hear these words spoken. As these men stand here and look at each other, they realize themselves victorious but not unchanged. Their nightmares laid bared, their hopes twisted, their loved ones pinned like butterflies to a corkboard, their true natures exposed. Pulled in unwittingly, they have through the bonds with each other crawled out their way out, transformed from their brief incursion into the Twilight Zone.
And then everyone just curses in anger.
And that is the end of not only of light and sound, but of mind. 2015 BrigadeCon. Thank you, all of you. I know there was a few watchers during the case of this. I hope you enjoyed what you were watching.
Woo!
once again, thank
Yeah.
you to the event coordinators over at BrigadeCon. Check them out, brigadecon.org. Also, check out Child's Play. Once again, great charity aid, definitely to help kids be introduced to the wonder of gaming and storytelling. Well worth it. And once again, a big thank you to Matthew and John, the co-creators of this wonderful system of Dreams and Magic. Thank you. Without you, this story probably would never have been told. So, odampublishing.com, as Nick has posted the book up there. As of this recording, only PDFs right now, but I have it on good authority that in a few days of this recording, October 10th,
Is today.
The last
Yeah,
9
it's
minutes
today.
of October.
2015. Last 9 minutes of October, 10th. So hopefully in the course of the next week, more books. So you have your copies. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you to these wonderful players for sticking it out throughout this this crazy madness.
And thank you for the wonderful dream that you have just weaved for us.
Indeed.
Yes, thank you so much.
And with that, I will end the broadcast, and we can discuss things about the game, what you like, what you didn't like. I'm assuming there's feedback things that you guys will be getting at some point. Please give me something honest. I don't care if it's good or bad, but honest.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good one.